Good morning, my friends. Happy Monday, November the 17th, 8 a.m. Eastern Time. Glad you're here. We know you've got many choices to make every single day, and we are always so very grateful that you choose to spend some time with us. So thank you very, very much. We got some snow, big storm coming our way, so we will... we do what we always do around here, just be like, yeah, whatever, it's snow. Of course, cars off the road everywhere because people forget that it is the winter driving season. But anywho, glad you guys are here. Thank you very, very much. You know the drill. Tapping is clapping, liking is loving, sharing is caring. Don't forget about joining our team. Please complete all your daily tasks. And while you're at it, check out our Discord. You can find the link to the Discord in the link tree that's in my bio. Also, while you're over there, you can check out Facts HQ. You'll find the Facts HQ link, or if you just go to @Factsstillmatter or factsstillmatter.site, you can find the merch store there. Actually, I need to also do this. Forgot about this today. We are crowdfunded around here. If you want to support the channel, best way to do that is to use the various appetizer apps, that is, which are @Factsstillmatter, and you can use Cash App, PayPal, Venmo. We do have a live goal. It's posted right there. And if you want to support the channel, best way to do that. So thank you all very, very much. A lot going on. Obviously, we've got quite a few things that we're going to try to cover today. The thing for me, obviously, we're going to spend some more time talking about the Jeffrey files. There is apparently going to be a vote tomorrow in Congress. The House is expected to vote. Now, the reason it's a big deal is primarily because of statements that the president has made over the weekend. And I'm going to try to do my best to offer you my opinion on what I think this is, but it's contradictory. And we're going to go through a lot of the contradictions this morning, because I think that's part of the frustration for all of us, right? Is we see what we see. And as the promise and commitment we've always made to you guys, we only report on what we know. Yes, I will offer my opinion, but I speak for myself. I don't speak for the Facts community. I don't speak for any of my mods. I speak for myself. But we try when we discuss the news, I will offer a disclaimer saying, in my opinion, or from what I've read, this is how I interpret it. We're just going to go by what we know. The biggest thing that I've taken from the Jeffrey documents is just the levels of contradiction based on lies that we've been told. Lies about time frames, lies about what the truth was behind why the relationship ended at Mar-a-Lago, claims that Trump kicked him out for this, kicked him out for that, Caroline Leavitt changing that story, one thing after another, right? And I've been asked about the situation with Bubba, right? It's interesting when you start to circle the wagons in defense of what you've done, meaning the right-wing ecosphere circling the wagons, trying to defend Trump. When Alex Jones and InfoWars chimes in, it's kind of interesting, their pivot. So this is just a little blurb from Alex Jones from InfoWars. This is what he had to say.
There's no video of President Trump sucking a ding-dong. And so what if there was? That's a lot better than World War III, Owen.
It's quite the interesting take. It's quite the interesting take from Alex Jones. And again, I'm only playing that because that's kind of this. Thank you, Swishy Raiders. Hearts in the chat for the Swishy Raiders. They show up every day. Swish is so kind, ends their show at 8 o'clock and then raids us. So we thank you very, very much. Part of the pivot right now is an attempt to diminish and or downgrade and or change the topic. I'm gonna play the sound from Megyn Kelly from last week. I'd like to put this disclaimer out there: trigger warnings for everything. I'm trying this. I don't intend this show to be, be graphic in the things we discuss. I'll always do my best to try to protect the community. I'm feeling a little bit under the weather, guys. So if I get a little distracted today, I apologize. But I think the frustration. Back to what I was just saying. We're not going to get into graphic details today. We're just going to talk about. There's more information that came out from the Jeffrey emails that were released that I don't know if it's getting talked about enough. And we've got the president, the twice impeached, four-time indicted, sexually abusing fraudster, convicted felon, name on a list predator, caught in a lie. Well, I mean, we catch him in a lie every single day, but this one is big because it involves a lot of the things that he's been trying to tell us for years, that it's a hoax. We know it's not a hoax because you wouldn't be opening an investigation into a hoax if it wasn't a hoax. So I want to play a little bit of sound just to kind of set the table. Then we've got a whole bunch of other things to happen, economically, some strange and twisted parts about how this story has evolved, and the obvious admission of mistakes that your tariffs have raised prices, right? With an absolute nod to it, because the prices of items that have gone up the most are the ones that the president used an executive order over the weekend to remove the tariffs on those items. And the spin that his cabinet is trying to do, the gaslighting, the flat out lying. There's a line between the gaslight and the flat out lie. We will do our best, again, to try to connect the dots on all the things that are necessary, right? So we'll do that as the day progresses, and then let me just bring this person up. Good morning. How are you today?
Good. Hello. How are you?
Fine, thank you. What's on your mind?
Well, real quick, not to pivot or anything, but do you remember debating me about a week ago?
Probably. I'm sure I dunked on you pretty significantly, right?
I think I held my own pretty good. We were in Adrian's Live debating healthcare.
Okay.
Yeah.
And?
Oh, okay. Well, I just wanted to see if you remember me or not. Do you know what's coming Tuesday?
I talk to lots of people.
I know you got a big following. I respect it. Do you know what's coming Tuesday?
What's your point? Yeah, the vote.
Yeah, HR 589.
The vote on releasing the files?
Yeah, HR 589 is the full transparency release.
Okay. The discharge petition. Yes, and?
Yes. Well, I just wanted to come up and say, it was a good debate with you. I respect what you're doing, even though you're on the opposite side. We may disagree. But I do like what you're doing.
I remember the conversation. I remember the conversation.
Yeah,
I remember the conversation now. You didn't. I think I pressed you on a solution, and yes. I haven't heard a solution from anybody on the right for healthcare. So if in an effort to have a good faith conversation for the past 10 years, because the Obamacare was signed into law officially in its full scope January 1st of 2014, the Republicans have done everything but offer a solution. Would you agree that there's a healthcare crisis?
Yes, but why is there a healthcare crisis?
Okay. I'm not concerned about that right now. Okay, we agree on a healthcare crisis. So, what is the conservative/Republicans' solution?
Go back to the free market.
So, what does that mean?
Before the ACA was passed, the free market had 13,000 PBMs versus 6 now. ACA diluted the healthcare market by eliminating PBMs.
What did the ACA do, though? What did the ACA do?
Eliminated 1,300 PBMs.
No, what did it do? What did it do, though?
Skyrocketed 24% through 2017 and 2024.
Okay, I'll answer the question for you. This is what I'm talking about. I'm trying to have a sincere debate. The goal of the ACA was to do what?
To eventually get everybody into a healthcare system to have healthcare, yes.
Right. So the positive approach to this was to do what? Was to get more people insured, which is what it did. The ACA was extremely unpopular when it started. 62% of people that are on it now, and by the way, the majority of people who are on the ACA are represented by Republicans in Congress, and 78% of ACA enrollees are in states that voted for Donald Trump. So it's popular. Far from perfect, I'm on it. So without it, what happens to the millions of people that are on it?
So this is where I think you and I differed in that debate. Well, I didn't really get into it.
Well, I'm still trying to get a solution, man. I'm still trying to get a solution. You talk about free market, but what does that mean?
Okay, so free market is, I kind of compared it to car insurance when I was debating somebody else about this, right? So with car insurance, what do? You go and shop multiple options, which the ACA kind of diluted. Thank you. There's only top 3 now. But the
it didn't, though. It didn't. Because it offered more. It offered people who didn't have access to healthcare. Mm-hmm. And I asked you if it's a good thing for people to have healthcare. I'll ask you again. Do you think people should be able to have healthcare?
Yes, that's why I think the free market's a good option.
Okay, so what? So I'm gonna press you on this, and if you're not going to answer questions, I'm just going to move on because we have a lot to cover today.
Well, I think I'm answering all your
about the free market. Well, you talk about the free market. Okay, how does that apply to people now who are on the ACA? What are they supposed to do when the ACA subsidies expire at the end of the year? Go.
Okay, so they don't have to expire. Mike Johnson could actually bring forth HR 5145, which would be another extension of
Has he? But has he? He has said what? What has he said about that?
Well, that's what I'm getting to. He hasn't brought it forth. There has been signatures to bring it forward, 11 Republicans, 4 Democrats. Now, if he holds the vote on it, we're talking...
But he has said he won't. But he has said he won't.
Well, people's opinions change every day.
Specifically, okay, but let's go by what he has said. Let's not use hypotheticals, okay? He has said he won't. So based on that, that means the subsidies are expiring at the end of the year, correct?
Yeah, as far as now, yes.
Okay, so what happened? Okay, so what happens to myself included? What happens to the tens of millions of Americans who are on the ACA when their insurance expires January 1st, 2026? Go.
Well, I kind of feel like that's another hypothetical question because we're not there yet, right?
No, it's not hypothetical because, again, we're going on what we know. We know, is it a fact, yes or no, that the ACA subsidies expire midnight, December 31st?
Correct, yes.
That's a fact. Mike Johnson, wait. Mike Johnson has said he's not going to bring a vote to the floor on that debate, which means that those subsidies are going to expire. That's not hypothetical. That's what he has said. Now, he could between now and then change his mind, but he has told us he's not going to bring a vote to the floor. So then what happens on January 1st, 2026?
Those subsidies expire. Yes, you are correct.
Right. So then what happens? What's the solution for the millions of Americans who won't have health care on that day?
Okay, so that is another hypothetical because we're not there yet.
And it's not a hypothetical. We just went through the exercise. We agreed that the subsidies expire. We agreed that Mike Johnson, at this point in time, has said that so we can only go by what we know. What we know is the subsidies expire. What we know is Mike Johnson has said he's not going to bring a vote to the floor. Okay? So with those things being said, what happens on January 1st, 2024?
Those people lose their health care. Yes.
I'm sorry, 2020. Right. So without a solution, is that just okay in your mind?
Well, to answer your question, I'm not trying to dodge this. Would you think that bringing that bill to the floor and extending those subsidies... We don't answer questions with questions. What happens to myself and my family? By the way, my daughter's a 2-time cancer survivor, which means she needs to have annual checkups. So what happens to... You're talking to somebody who's on the ACA right now. What happens to me? My premiums are going to go up $1,500, which is more than which is my mortgage and my car payment combined. What happens to me? Okay, so yes, you lose your health care, but at the same time, okay, I'm not trying to dodge your question, but if we hold that vote and that bill were to pass and we give you another year of extensions and they vote and they debate and do, what government does, could you say that going back to a free public market option like you do with your car insurance, you go shop at different places where the PBMs were eliminated? That you stated that before. This is what we know from the Obamacare, that the 13,000 PBMs that were eliminated under the healthcare could go back up and you'd have more options to shop for cheaper insurance like you do with your car insurance.
And what is one key feature of the ACA?
Pre-existing conditions.
Right. So without any regulations on pre-existing conditions, do you think it costs more or less to insure someone with a pre-existing condition?
I would say it costs more.
It does. So do you think an insurance company in the free market system is going to take on more risk or less risk?
They would take on less risk, but that's where you create their own standardized sub. What am I looking for here?
And that's supposed to happen. And that's supposed to happen when?
When they debate the healthcare.
So do you understand that the healthcare industry in our nation is a $7 trillion industry with $2 trillion in profit?
It's actually 5.25. 5.25, but you're close.
Now, in 2 years, it's going to be $7 trillion. Okay,
so that's a hypothetical.
That's the trend line. It's math. With a $2 trillion, you know what? For the purpose of this argument, I'll give you $5 trillion. Okay, with $2 trillion in profit, a for-profit healthcare system, companies who continue to give their CEOs And first of all, those companies are subjected to government subsidies. So we'll subsidize corporations to the tune of $180 billion annually, roughly speaking. But we're concerned about subsidies for the ACA that insures Americans. Help me understand that, because it makes no sense.
Well, this is what I'm trying
why are we okay with continuing to give insurance companies, some of the largest companies in the world who are preying on individuals, subsidies, but yet we're concerned about paying the ACA subsidies? Make that make sense to me.
So that's where the free market public option comes in. What you do with your car insurance is you go shop for the lowest rate, correct?
You do, yes.
Okay, so the free market causes that to go down. If you have people that are shopping for insurance and a company over here, let's just make up a name, Healthcare is Anonymous, right? They come over here and say, we can insure you for $240 a month. And you go to a different company and they say, we'll insure you for $750 a month. Which option are you likely to choose?
Okay, let's talk about that. So right now, my goodness gracious, who are corporations beholden to?
Well, there's multiple things that they're beholden to. I mean, you obviously stated one earlier.
Shareholders, right? They're beholden to their shareholders, correct? So they are required based on their fiduciary responsibilities to their shareholders to turn a profit. Would you agree?
Correct.
So what do the ACA subsidies do?
And what circumstance?
So there's the market rate, and then there's the ACA subsidy. So the ACA subsidy is deferring the cost, is paying the insurance companies so people can be insured, right? Mm-hmm. So without that, how do these insurance companies just report the same level of profit? So what you're saying is, sure, it sounds great hypothetically. It sounds fantastic. Oh yeah, the free market. When have corporations ever done the right thing by people?
There's some corporations that do, some corporations that don't. Everything has a good and bad side.
Some. Right. So healthcare, for example, without the ACA subsidies, my healthcare goes up to $1,500 a month. You are putting people, your belief set, you haven't thought this through because there's still no solution. You're putting people's lives at risk.
Well, can I ask you?
If you genuinely think that corporations are going to compete, again, the answer to your question is the collective bargain, which would be universal health care. That's how you control costs.
So how
the more people involved, the more people connected to the network, the more people in the pool, so to speak, drives costs down.
So how would doing universal health care not hold the shareholders accountable for making profit?
I don't give a shit, because it's not that the insurance companies aren't the ones that are doing it now. The government does. The government becomes a single payer. The government pays your provider.
Okay, so you would eliminate the shareholders completely through universal health care.
Fuck yeah, get rid of them. Don't need them.
Okay, so
I want the single payer. My model is Medicare for all. That's the one that's the most effective. That's the one that's the most efficient. The government becomes the provider. We, the 340 million of us, become the collective bargain. We negotiate the prices down. We cut out all the administrative costs, all the middlemen and women, the entire process. The payment goes from the government, in this case, the Medicare for all provider, to the person who is taking care of you.
So let me ask you.
Why do we need any of the people in between? Why do we need them?
Well, let me ask you a question off of that. Why couldn't you do that?
No, because answer my question. Answer my question.
What was your question again?
Why do we need them? Why do we need the insurance companies?
What do you mean?
Why do we need the insurance companies? If they're the ones that, if we agree that they're, do you think they're predatory, by the way?
I mean, all insurance is.
Okay, so do you know that United Healthcare, by the way, has a line item? In fact, all insurance companies do. They have claim denial as a line item on their P&L.
Yeah.
That's the problem with a for-profit model. So again, I'll ask you, what would be so wrong with cutting out all the waste? Because the number one of the, I think it's number one still. This is just my thought on this, but I believe it's true. One of the leading costs for healthcare is the amount of people that we have uninsured. So part of the solution to that would be a Medicare for all model. I feel like what I'm feeling like you're trying to do is to justify the capitalism.
Well, no, what I was trying to ask you earlier is how could you not do that in a free market system where you cut out the shareholders and just make it a strictly, you compete for this price, this is your coverage, and cut out the middleman like you're saying in a free public market. You could do the same thing and do it with the government subsidies as well.
Without the government. Because the insurance companies are still involved. So the question for you, I guess, is this. Who do you trust more to manage your healthcare? A for-profit healthcare industry or the government?
Neither.
So then you don't have a solution. That's the problem. I'm offering a solution. All you talk about in terms of due respect, you're just simping for the corporations again because you're talking about free market. This is healthcare. Healthcare should not be part of a for-profit network. It just shouldn't be. It just shouldn't be. There's effective models across the globe where the government runs it. If you don't trust the government and you don't trust corporations, then you don't have a solution. I'm asking you to think about. I'm asking you to do away with your capitalism nonsense. I'm asking you to do away with your free market nonsense. Don't compare healthcare to auto insurance. We're talking about healthcare. Healthcare.
Can I address something really quick?
I believe. Don't look at the chat. I believe healthcare is a human right. I've always done that. Okay.
Well,
so you and I may have a fundamental difference about healthcare. I don't think it should be. I don't think it should be connected to for-profit in any way, shape, or form.
Well, okay.
You seem to.
Well, okay. Well, I'm not addressing certain comments in the chat, but can I just address something for 2 seconds? I've seen
just ignore it. No, just ignore it.
I know, but saying I have. I know, but
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You're talking to me.
Well,
okay?
I was going to give you.
Focus.
I was going to give you well, I hate to use anecdotals, but I mean, with my grandfather and everything like that, having 5 insurance policies before the ACA took over, those insurance policies.
Again, I'm not interested in the comments.
Canceled.
I'm not interested in the comments.
No. I know. I'm saying
talking about solutions because you keep focusing on the conversation. You keep going to the free market model.
Yes, and I was trying to explain.
Wait.
Okay, go ahead.
The free market model involves the corporate capitalists and the for-profit health insurance industry. And I asked you, give me an example where corporations have done anything other than be beholden to their shareholders.
I think Paul Newman was a really good example of that.
That's one company.
One out of a lot that I can name.
One company.
But Paul Newman.
Right, that's one. But that was the model of his company when he built the company.
Correct. But why can't insurance companies do that?
Why haven't they done it?
Because of the ACA.
No, the premiums are going up before the ACA, man. They've been steadily going up every year.
4 to 6%. That's the difference between the free public market option and the ACA.
Incorrect. That is incorrect. You're still not answering my question. You're still not answering my question. And I don't think this is the problem. You don't have a solution. You don't care. You want people to struggle. You don't care.
That's not true because I'm actually struggling myself. But you argued for a 4% tax rate on the socialized healthcare. Now, let me ask you a question.
No, not socialized. Not socialized. Medicare for all.
Excuse me.
If you need to use that as if you need to use that for the boogeyman for your argument, then go ahead.
No. I retracted my statement.
There's no justification. There's no economic argument against the ACA. Or I'm sorry, against universal health care. None. There's none. I was speaking to somebody over the weekend, he and his family, and he was trying to defend your stance. And I said, how much do you pay? He's like, I pay close to $20,000 a year to insure his family of 4. Is that acceptable?
No.
Okay, so then you don't have a solution other than more capitalists involved in healthcare.
Well, isn't your solution to add a 4% tax on the people that are already struggling to make ends meet? I mean, again, in the state where I live
so here's my model. Here's my model.
Well, can I finish my sentence? Can I finish my sentence?
Sure.
Okay, so you advocated for a 4% tax increase when the tax level out here is 28%. So you're advocating for 32%, which is above even the corporation tax, which is crazy.
What do you get for it? But what do you get for it?
Healthcare yes, you get healthcare for everybody, but for the people that don't use it, you're implementing a tax that costs people.
Then you're contradicting yourself regarding your car insurance. You don't care about the collective. Do you understand? Again, one of the main reasons I need you to listen to this, because you're being too obtuse or you just don't care. One of the reasons that our costs are so high, going back to the for-profit model with insurance companies being beholden to their shareholders, is the amount of uninsured people that we have. That's what you're missing. That's the part that you're not able to connect the dots, or you're unwilling to connect the dots.
No, I understand.
So the person I was speaking to over the weekend, the person I was speaking to over the weekend, $20,000 a year to insure his family. That's his premiums, deductibles, out-of-pocket costs, copay, etc. My model, a 4% tax increase, which is one of the targets that Bernie used in his Medicare for Plan Often, means all those things go away. So sure, you can use the fear-mongering argument that your taxes go up, but you don't pay for anything else on the other side. Another reason healthcare costs are so high is because people are underinsured. They don't go for annual physicals. They end up having to go to the emergency room, and then that cost gets spread over us. As a capitalist, you should want us to save money. And you keep missing that argument. There are estimates across the board that the average American family would pay the average American family now pays between $15,000 and $18,000 annually for health coverage, either through employer options or alternatives. That number goes away. American families would save between $7,000 and $10,000 annually on a universal health care model, Medicare for all model, even with a tax increase.
Okay,
why is it so hard to grasp that? Why? I don't understand why it is so hard for you to grasp that concept. What are you afraid of?
No. So would you say that it would be fair for somebody who, again, I'm 30 years old, never been to a hospital in my life except for when I had to get vaccinated for school. Would you not say that it wouldn't be fair to the taxpayer if they are being charged 4% and they never go to a hospital, that they would get a rebate check back for not subsidizing that?
Do you think it's fair for me to have to pay for $230 million for the president to sue the Department of Justice, or for us to pay for tax breaks for the rich? I'm not a rich person.
The 2% tax break?
Again, I'm using your own argument against you. You talked about fair. If I had to choose between subsidizing corporations or subsidizing healthcare for the American people, what do you think I'm going to choose?
You tell me.
What do you think I'm going to choose?
Well, you tell me. I mean, obviously, you would probably take the subsidized healthcare, correct?
Healthcare. So then, if your concern is your concern in this whole thing, you just don't think it's fair?
No, I asked you a specific question that you failed to answer.
You have a social contract, right? I've answered it. I do think it's fair.
No, you didn't. You did. I asked you, would you think it would be fair for somebody who's paying into the system at a 4% tax rate to get a rebate check? Okay. Yes. That doesn't come with your healthcare plan.
I didn't. You added rebate check. I'm not talking about rebate check. I'm talking about a 4% tax increase that everybody. I'm not even talking about 4% tax increases for you and I. I'm talking about going after the rich. That's what I'm talking about. Getting them to pay more. They can afford it.
So paying 64% of the tax rate.
This model is. Who gives a fuck? Who cares? Why are you simping for billionaires?
No, because
what the fuck is wrong with you, bro?
No. Hold on. Okay,
seriously, you're simping for billionaires.
No. I've been respectful towards you, Facts.
And I've been respectful. I've been respectful. I'm just asking, seriously, bro. Where's your priority? Get over it. If your feelings are hurt, tough shit. Move on. If you don't like it, just leave. I'm trying to pin you down in your priorities.
Well, no,
because everything I've heard so far is you simping for corporations and billionaires. Why?
So you don't think that it's fair that 64% of the taxes come from the rich, and we only pay 32% as the middle to lower class?
Don't care.
So
they've been taking advantage of this. So again, can you answer this question?
Sure.
Why is it that everything that you've discussed so far in your model supports corporations and capitalists? I've not heard you talk about anything that would benefit the middle class. Why is that? That's a weird flex.
Well, no, I'm not flexing. Don't put words in my mouth. But I'm just curious at what percentage of tax rate would be acceptable for you for the rich to pay before you're actually accepting of what the rich do. Because without the rich, we wouldn't have jobs. We wouldn't have the things that we have now.
That's not true at all, man.
Who are the employers?
You don't understand this.
Who are the employers?
They don't create. What do they do? Okay, what's the promise of Reaganomics? I'm gonna help educate you here. What was the promise of Reaganomics?
I don't agree with Reagan at all. I thought Reagan was a horrible president because of the things that he did.
Okay,
he skyrocketed welfare.
But that's My God, that's the same model. It's the model that Reagan used, Bush 1 used, Bush 2 used, and Trump used. Lower corporate tax rates, give the advantage to the richest among us on the backs of the middle class. It's the same model. Every single year, under Republican economic policies, they cut the corporate tax rate. I'm saying let's go back to 35% and fund healthcare.
Okay, so this is how I'd combat your argument. In other parts of the world, what is the corporate
You
tax
haven't
rate?
answered my question yet.
Okay, what was your question? Sorry, go ahead.
Why is it that every single argument you've made is in defense of corporations and billionaires and not the middle class?
That's not true, because I voted for Donald Trump to pass HR 151, which gave the most tax cuts to the middle and lower class. Excuse me, 4% versus 2%.
We know that.
No, it did.
Right,
4% versus 2%.
But we know what happened, my guy. We know, but what is the? I just don't think you're. I don't think you're being sincere. I just don't think you understand. I don't think you care about your fellow Americans, man. I just don't. There's a healthcare crisis in this country, and I've yet to hear you say anything about a solution other than free market. The free market benefits whom?
It would benefit the middle and lower class if you did it a certain way.
How would wait a minute? How would the free market benefit the middle and lower class? Explain.
Well, let's look at the numbers, right? As I stated before.
I'm asking. Just explain it to me.
Well, I'm answering. I'm answering.
Okay, once again, let's set the premise here. We understand, we agreed that health insurance companies, the medical device, the entire healthcare industry, which will be a $7 trillion industry in 2 years, $2+ trillion in profit, they are beholden to their shareholders. Do you expect that entire industry to suddenly be altruistic?
Well, you can't now.
Well, that's your solution, the free market.
Yes, and I was trying to explain it because at the free market pace, it was only rising 4 to 6%. They did an independent study on the ACA in 2017 to 2024 that
what
said,
is your solution?
Go back to
your solution.
Okay.
Make it personal. Okay, what you're talking to me now. January 1st, I can't afford healthcare anymore. Steve, here's your solution. What is it? Go.
Can I explain it?
Go. Yeah. I don't want your anecdotes. I want you to tell me what my solution is.
I'm not doing an anecdote. I'm giving you the solution to it. You go back to a free market that was only rising to 4 to 6%. As soon as the ACA passed in 2010, you had a market that skyrocketed from 2017 to 2024 at 24%.
How does healthcare work?
You tell me.
You don't know?
I do know. Beholden to their shareholders. They inflate their costs.
But how does it work? How does it work?
What do you want me to explain? How you go into a hospital? Yeah.
So when you go for a treatment for something, how does it work?
You go in, you get treated, you pay your copay, and then from there, you are billed.
Right. You're billed. You're billed. And hold on a second. Yes, he is.
Love it.
My daughter overheard the conversation, and she just said a disparaging thing about you. But anyways, I'll move on from that. What I think you're forgetting, friend, what I think you're forgetting is that nobody pays retail for the cost of services. There's a negotiation that happens between the health insurance companies and the providers. So the hospitals, the medical device industries, all those people still have to get paid. You are forgetting that. You are only focused on the premium. So if the premium goes, if my insurance premium now is say $1,000 a month, okay? If that's the premium that I pay, the insurance company pays the difference to the hospitals, to the medical device companies, to everybody else. So how do they get paid now in your model?
I'll answer your question. Can I know what she said?
No, doesn't matter.
If you took enough time.
Can you answer my question, please? What?
I said it did, apparently, if you had to go take that question or whatever derogatory statement she said.
It doesn't matter. You still have not answered my question.
Well, I'm arguing.
How does everybody in the system get paid?
I'm arguing in good faith with you, Facts. I had 2 good arguments with you and never called you out of anything or said anything disgusting. Why are you allowing that to happen?
How? You can't answer my question. See, you're caught. This is what I'm talking about.
No, I can answer your question. I know the answer to it. I just want to know why I had.
Then answer it. Then answer it. Then answer it. Then answer the question.
Going back to Adrian's live again.
Answer it. Just answer the question. How does everybody who's got their hands in the till, how do they get paid?
Through the billing.
Through the billing. Okay, but how do they get paid? So what do they get billed for?
By the cost that the market.
Without insurance.
By the cost that
Right.
the market
So
sets,
market.
or the company, sorry. The company is set so
Right.
that their shareholders and the people in the industry get paid from it. There, answered your question. Now, can you answer mine?
You didn't answer it. No, I'm not
I
going to
just
answer yours.
did.
I'm not going to answer yours. No, you didn't answer it. You're okay. So you, dude, you've got some real thinking to do as you grow. I know you said you're 30. You have no clue about any of this shit. You are convinced that capitalism solves every fucking problem.
No, I never said that.
You are convinced of that. Well, yeah, we're convinced. The 2,000 people in here are convinced. Just by the way you're arguing. Again, that's my opinion. Okay, I'm entitled to
and
it.
I said I respect it.
Every single time we talk about this, you always talk about it from terms of the free market. The free market would keep people. Do you really think insurance companies would? One of the reasons the ACA was so effective is because it protected people with pre-existing conditions. Do you really think the free market would allow people who have pre-existing conditions to be on insurance?
Yes, if you modeled it correctly.
Who's going to model it? Where's the model?
You set the standards inside of the government when you do the free market.
What standards? That's the government. That's government. That's a single payer model.
No, not well. Yes and no.
Dude, I'm sorry, but this is just a waste of fucking time. Unbelievable. This is the problem, right? So this is the problem. Okay? The problem is that capitalists are always going to be capitalists. Okay? It's a for-profit industry. There is absolutely, if anybody, and this is the problem with people like that who are so young who don't understand. Everything he talked about was to the benefit of capitalists. I'm afraid I don't want billionaires to have to pay more taxes. I don't think it's fair that I should have to pay more taxes if I don't use insurance. That is a fundamental difference between people on the left who care about others and people who don't. It's pretty simple. I absolutely believe that healthcare is a human right. An absolute human right. You can't, until somebody from the right, because what it's going to take is going to take somebody from the right who understands this. Why do people continue to defend billionaires? Bro, he's not going to pick you. He's not going to pick you. He's not. Why don't you let him speak? All I heard is you talking over him. Timothy, you're probably one of the same people. You're probably one of the same people who don't give a shit about your neighbor either. I mean, give me a break. What is wrong with you people? What is wrong? When has a corporation ever looked out for you? They rip you off all the time. They price gouge you. Predatory lending. Fraud. You want to defend. So the question to ask, this is the question for everybody on the right. Who do you trust more? Corporations or the government? And if you say corporations, then I got a plot of land in the middle of the Atlantic I want to talk to you about. It's unbelievable how selfish people are. Hold on. Be safe, be kind, be gentle. And yes, he was pretty stupid. Goodbye. I mean, seriously, where are we going? Where are we going when we constantly try to defend corporate capitalists? What the fuck are we doing? People say neither. I don't trust either. Well, you're going to have to trust one. Okay? You are going to have to trust one, Bell. You trust neither. This is the problem with that neither argument. Well, all you do is cry, baby. Okay, let's. What is the issue? Why are you? Do you understand? Hang on a second. I will. Do people understand that the Medicaid Medicare model is funded through the government and it's an efficient system? This has been audited. 5%, between 5 and 7% fraud rate, and it's not on the recipient side. I don't understand why people have become just so pitifully cruel that you simp for billionaires. It makes no sense. It just makes no sense. Capitalists, if you want more money in your pocket so that people can contribute to the free market more, then universal health care is the answer. That's it. You talk about waste, fraud, and abuse. There's so much fraud in our healthcare industry. And your answer is free market, giving more people the power unregulated to jack up your prices. It's just unbelievable how... Anyway. It's so wild to me. It's just so wild. We'll do one more guest and I'll get back into our topics of the day. KD, how are you today? KD, are you there? KD, are you there?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
Didn't want to request?
I was just listening. I'm sorry. I'm walking
No problem.
the dog.
Thanks for being.
Sorry.
I appreciate it. Thanks a lot for being here, man. Thanks. It's okay. Don't worry about it. Okay, we'll go to. It's just weird. It's just a weird flex. The constant defense of corporations. I just don't get it. You expect corporations to pay a little bit more? Yeah, I do. There's all sort of, if people were bothered to look into, the Medicare for All model that Bernie offered, there's the taxing on Wall Street speculation. Why is it such a big deal? I'm not even talking, if I were to have my way, I'd go back to the way it was prior to Reaganomics, when the corporate tax rates were 50% and the top marginalized rate was 90. Economically, we were humming as a nation. But no, capitalists can't do that. You guys still think they're job creators. They're not job creators. Job creation comes from small business. The overwhelming majority of Americans work for small businesses. Corporations are not job creators. They're not. Mergers and acquisitions are not job creators. Okay? We know that. The promise of corporations through trickle-down economic policy, which, by the way, is the exact same thing we are seeing now, just called something different. They don't reinvest. They don't reinvest. It's stock buybacks. That's their fucking model. As the wealth gap gets wider and wider and wider and wider and wider. But they don't want to talk about that because they'll simp for fucking billionaires. It drives me crazy. We're talking about healthcare.
Oh, my camera's on.
Good morning, my friend. But it's okay. By the way, your videos recently, chef's kiss.
Thanks. Okay, I had to go away, so I don't know if you before the last guest left. Let me turn my camera off. I didn't know it was on, so that's gonna distract me. Okay. Sorry, I had it on from. I guess it saves your settings anyway. Just one thing that the last guy said. For anybody listening, the idea that what if I don't use my insurance? Like, I'm curious if he would. Yeah, and I'm curious if he would want a rebate from his insurance companies now if he didn't use it. But it's also just silly because the truth is, like, nobody needs insurance until you need it. Or well, that's not true. I mean, people who have pre-existing conditions, but a good portion of people don't need insurance until you need it. It's the same way that like pregnancies are healthy till they're not pregnancy. You're healthy till you're not healthy. And when we look at people who it's that idea that like, well, it's not going to happen to me. Well, it might. You might get cancer. You might get hit by a car. You might get pregnant. Pregnancy is something that you need you need insurance for a full year. So if you are pregnant, you better hope your husband doesn't lose your job if you're a stay-at-home mom, because then you won't be able to be put back on insurance anywhere. If you lose your job, I mean, it's really just. And it's so infuriating listening to you talk to them because you make such perfect sense. And it really just comes down to it. I mean, why do you not want people to have health care?
Somebody, the C-Bar made a great comment, said, we don't need insurance, we need health care. It's exactly right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's what this debate is about. I mean, I know you talk to them too, Ash. By the way, if you guys are not following Ash, what the hell's wrong with you?
Thank you.
That's the first thing. The second thing is, it's just a fundamental difference between the way people look at society. It really comes, I mean, I don't think it's any more, because we talk to these people all the time. It's the constant simping for billionaires. I know the answer. It's always going to be free market, free market. What has the free market done to benefit the middle class in the last 50 years? Not a damn thing.
Oh, yeah. It also just, I think people don't understand how, when you asked him, how does like the healthcare system work and all that, I don't think people really truly understand.
They don't.
And that I think it's like what, 75% of our premiums go to like administrative cost. And
Yep.
like, you're basically like, imagine like hiring somebody to come over to your house to do yard work. And then but somebody comes over when it's time to pay them and they stand in the middle of you and they're like, I know that this only costs $600, but I'm actually going to take $1,800, give him $600 and keep the rest.
Correct.
For what reason?
Correct.
I could have can I just move you out of the way and pay him? You know, and it would be the opposite way where the government, and just look at government. The government pays their bills when it comes to healthcare. We don't have any evidence that they don't pay their bills. Look at VA.
Correct.
I did billing and claims for pregnancy for almost 7 years. And as far as the federal plans that Blue Cross Blue Shield only administered, they paid their bills. Nobody was trying to deny claims. They just paid the bills. TRICARE, VA, Medicaid, Medicare, all of it, all of it.
Yep.
Anyway,
Exactly.
Yeah,
I mean, that's it's just a fundamental difference between how we see society.
I know you've heard my my analogy that I feel like insurance is your belt, and when you have to take a really big dump, you have to ask your belt for permission to take a dump, and then they make you wait. They make you wait sometimes, and sometimes you even like poop your pants, and then you have to clean up your poop yourself and then make another appointment because you pooped your pants while you were waiting to get permission to use the toilet in your house. But as a matter of fact, they make you go to your neighbor's house, but your neighbor's not home, so you have to wait because you can't use their toilet. It's just, what the hell are we doing? But anyway.
Correct.
Love you.
It's a good point. I love you too, friend. See you later.
Take care.
Yourself. Bye. All right, bye. By the way, Ash had a really great suggestion for a shirt. Like you guys know, sometimes when somebody requests and they come up into the box, and I'm saying, "Are you there? Are you there?" And I was like, "I'm the progressive in your pocket." Well, we have a new shirt in the merch store, the progressive in your pocket, and Kipper makes an appearance. So if you want to check that out, you can find it at Facts HQ, Factsstillmatter.site. All proceeds from that shirt sale goes direct to support I can't think of the name of the organization off the top of my head, but it goes in particular to support Black women who are pregnant. So Black Mamas, I think, is something like that. But anyway, you'll see the information on the shirt. All the items, the sale of that item in particular, all the proceeds from that go directly to this cause. So thank you, Ash, and thank you, Sam, for putting that together. You'll find it in the merch store. This is what people don't understand. And I think we might need to do an exercise on this. We don't pay retail. So I've said this before, just real quickly. The retail cost of what it would have been to cover my daughter's two separate cancer incidences and the 4.5 year stretch of her life and my life and my children's life back when she was younger was about $1.5 million. $77,000 roughly out of pocket. So in the free market model, how do those people get paid? This is what people don't understand. You only focus on the premium. Do you think, this is the problem with our system, right? I think I've said this before and I don't want to spend too long on it. I remember looking at the bill because I started asking for the itemized bill. I'm like, this is crazy. And there was a $500 sheet change in the middle of the night. And I said, no. Well, it's part of our process. I'm like, I don't care. I'm not paying it. I'll change the sheets myself. So this is what I'm talking about. Doctors and nurses, I'm not talking about the care providers. They should absolutely be paid. But the entire system, everybody gets a piece of the pie, right? As the collective bargain, so people know what that is, 340 million of us, we are the collective bargain. And I'm gonna address Maha in just a second because it's gonna help Maha as well. The more of us in the pool negotiating these prices drives everybody's costs down. And for the Maha enthusiasts out there, right? Do you understand the countries that have universal healthcare model, or whether it be the NIH or whatever they have in Canada, because the government is paying for healthcare for its citizens, they are part of wanting to have food dyes and bad ingredients and shit moved from food. Because if they're flipping the bill, They want things to be more healthy. I just don't fucking understand why people are so goddamn selfish. Well, I didn't mean you, but welcome. Thanks for being here, buddy. I know you're up early. What's going on?
Oh, I'm in the airport. I'm headed on
Where
vacation.
Are you
going? Mexico.
Nice. Enjoy yourself.
I'm blowing Dodge. I'm never coming back.
Okay, I don't blame you. What's on your mind, buddy?
No, I was listening to your show while I was in the Uber, and I was waiting to get out because I think one of the things that people don't understand is just how little this costs. Like that last guy, he cares a lot about capitalism and circulating that money. 4% tax, if you make $100,000, is 4,000 motherfucking dollars.
I know.
That frees up 16 grand you can go use for capitalism all day long. And it blows my mind that it feels like we have a cult following for private insurance. Like nobody simps harder for the insurance companies than 30-year-old tech bros.
Who are alphas, who think they'll never be sick.
That's right. I need to pay that $20,000 to make my dick hard. Yeah, I think, yeah. It's crazy, man.
Yeah, but I know you talk about economics a lot, and have you ever seen an economic argument against universal health care or Medicare for all model?
I say this I'd say this sometimes, but like legitimately, I have never debated this topic where it ended with the Republican on the other side not agreeing that this is a better model. Like that's how, like they never admit to anything, and nobody admits to anything in debates. But like it's so unbalanced that when you just lay them side by side, it's like you could pay $20,000 for a shitty version or 4,000 for a good one. It's like, yeah, I'll do 4,000.
Yeah, but they're afraid of I don't know what they're afraid that their billionaire buddies, of which they'll never be, are somehow getting screwed.
Well, some of them did get, some of their billionaire buddies got screwed by Luigi, but we don't need to talk about that. Free Luigi.
Hey now. Free Luigi. Exactly. Yeah, I mean you're right. I mean I don't understand it. I mean I think there's a clear divide about how people approach society. And I just don't like the fact that we fight over healthcare or food or things like that. It's just ridiculous. And I think the change, if anything positive has come out of the last 10 years of fucking hell, I think it's exposing what we've been saying forever, that corporate capitalists and the 1%ers are the enemy. And any chance they get to step on our collective necks, they'll take it.
Yeah, fuck them. Well, I just want to tell you, I'll be listening to you all week. I go for my morning coffee when I'm out there for a walk, and you're doing the Lord's work. Good to see you. And one more thing. I want to know what your daughter said.
Yeah.
I want to know what she said about it.
She said, "Is that guy really this fucking stupid?"
Yeah, baby, she is. Oh, man, have a good week.
Yeah. You too, pal. See you later. Thanks, RTP, for joining. See you later. It's right, though. It's like when you break down the model, when you just compare things side by side, and this is the problem with the disparaging term of socialism. We live in an environment, we've got socialized programs all the time. So I've always thought about like how do we rebrand, because universal health care gets stigmatized, that it's this commie takeover of our country. So what else? What should we call it? Right? What do we call it? Like the Medicare for all model? That's got negative connotations. How about patriotic insurance or whatever? You know, let's use patriotic healthcare. The Alpha Healthcare Protection Plan. Or whatever. Call it Mega Medical. I don't give a fuck. Call whatever the fuck you want. Call America First. That's a good one. America First Insurance. There you go. That's a good one. I love that. But why do we continue to simp over billionaires? Again, I'm glad RDP brought that up, right? 4% on $100,000 is $4,000. You'd save $16,000. Go spend your fucking dough. Go buy your hair plugs. Go buy your dick cream. Go buy your truck nut polish and have a good day. And thank you for allowing everybody else to become insured. just fucking wild. I've never understood it. I've never understood it. All right, going to take a little pause. We're going to let our friend Blue, we're going to do this on Mondays now. We're going to do, Blue's going to give us a couple of immigration updates. So thank you, friend. Sorry about last week. It was a little chaotic, but I'm glad you're here.
No problem. I totally understand. All right, so a couple of quick hits on immigration. Trump talks up H-1B talent while his own fee squeezes it. A significant contradiction is emerging between the administration's rhetoric, its policy on skilled immigration. In a recent Fox News interview, Trump personally defended the H-1B program, stating the U.S. must, quote, bring in talent that isn't available domestically. This comment comes just weeks after his administration imposed a unprecedented $100,000 application fee for H-1B visas and proposed overhauling the lottery to favor high-wage incumbents. The policy effectively turns the skilled worker visa into a luxury product, pricing out startups, universities, and smaller employers, and pushing global talent to competing countries. And secondly, the State Department
just that would be so Blue. That's just a little contradictory, don't you think?
Just a little bit, tiny bit,
just a little bit.
And tangentially related to what we were just talking about with healthcare, the State Department tells officers to weigh chronic illnesses in visa denials. The State Department is fundamentally shifting its public charge rules, instructing consular officers to now consider common chronic conditions like diabetes, obesity, cardiovascular disease, and mental health issues as potential reasons for visa denials. This new guidance moves beyond screening for communicable diseases and instead asks officers who are not medical experts to subjectively estimate an applicant's potential lifetime medical costs. Critics warn this effectively creates a health and wealth test that discriminates against applicants with disabilities, older individuals, and those with manageable conditions, disproportionately impacting family reunification.
Wow, we have a lot of things that we need to address, quite frankly. And the current administration does not seem to care about anything other than the example we had earlier today about making sure the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. Yep. Thank you for doing this for us, buddy. I appreciate it. If you guys don't follow Blue, please follow Blue. Blue's going to be doing our immigration updates for us every single Monday morning. Thank you for being here, buddy. I appreciate you.
Thank you for having me.
You got it. See you later. It's just this way, and I'm watching the comments go by. Like, it's just like people. I've given this analogy 100 times. You know, there's 100 people standing in front of me, and if 2 people don't deserve healthcare, I don't give a fuck. I want everybody to have healthcare. The same argument applies to the right. 100 people standing in front of them, and two people don't deserve healthcare. They'll deny all 100 because those 2 people don't deserve it. I don't think it's any simpler than just that. I'm so tired of people that simp for billionaires. Bro, you're 30 years old. You're never going to get picked. You're never going to get picked. Instead, you're like, well, what if I don't need it? My taxpayer dollars are going to pay for corporations getting their tax cuts. My taxpayer dollars are going to fund the military-industrial complex. They don't need it. Can I get my money back from them? The argument that people forget on healthcare is what I tried to break down for him. It's not just your premiums. It's everybody else that's going to get paid. But if you can just wander the halls and just think that the altruistic nature of corporate capitalists are just going to absorb the cost. My God. Anywho, okay. I'll bring up one more guest and then I'll get back to our target here. This was the first one that was in here. Yes, my daughter's a bit of a badass, and it's opening week. We opened for Mean Girls Mean Girls opens Thursday night, and we're getting a blizzard tonight, so we don't know what we're gonna do, but we'll figure it out. The show must go on. Okay, a couple of things. I want to play this for you. Thank you to Gregory for sending me this. And by the way, people have asked. This is Juan Epstein from Welcome Back, Kotter. I thought it was kind of funny because if you've ever watched the show, he would, if he was late or didn't have his homework, he would always come in and the statement was, this was the excuse, signed Epstein's mother. So I kind of thought it was funny. Anyway, okay, I want to play this. I want to play this little clip for you. This is from. You guys have probably heard about the I've Had It podcast with a couple of guests. They host a show. I think they do it weekly. They had this is Jennifer Welch and Angie Pumps. Rick Wilson. We know Rick Wilson, former Republican, who was one of the founders of the Lincoln Project. And this is the kind of thing, and I completely agree with what you're about to hear. And before we get into our topic, but I think it relates to exactly what we're discussing here. One of the reasons that that Democrats don't score so favorably when people on public opinion polls is because they don't show enough courage. It's not that people don't. We are old, Steve. Yeah, you're right, Greg. We are. It's not that. It's that they don't show enough courage or enough fight, right? But people like the policies for the most part that come from the left. So this is an example of some of the things that we all should want.
The Republicans and Democrats are playing two different games. And when Tanks was out there saying they're going to make D.C. a state and Puerto Rico and they're going to stack the court, I think if I was Hakeem and Chuck, I would stand up and go, you're goddamn right. We're going to do every fucking bit of that. We're going to do all of it. As fast as you moved, when we get power back, we're going to move faster. And Merrick Garland fucked up and Joe Biden fucked up by not appointing a fighter in that position. You're goddamn right. We're going blazing on all of that shit.
I got to tell you, I mean, I think the Democrats should be promising right now, we are going to dismantle Project 2025. We are going to dismantle Doge. We are going to hold the people in these mask assholes from ICE and DHS who are zip tying kids and kicking the doors in on the homes of American citizens without a warrant. We're going to hold them accountable. We're going to cut off Kristi Noem's jet. We're going to not let her boyfriend, Corey Lewandowski, run this shit behind the closed doors. We're going to drag Stephen Miller up here for 1,000 fucking hearings. We're going to get every document. We're going to go into the White House with a chainsaw. We're going to find every secret of this bullshit that's going on. We're going to go into all these corporate donors to the fucking ballroom, and they're going to be sitting in front of committees in the House and the Senate, and they're going to get their heads caved in over and over again in public to explain the corruption and the cruelty and the bullshit that's going on and the criminality in this country. Democrats need to show America they've got some fight in them. One of the other things that I've had enough of is like they're like, well, we'll focus group this policy statement and no one will be offended. No, go in and bad people in the face over and over again. And yes, does everybody like that? No. But do Americans respond when you fight for them? Yes, they do.
Anybody disagree with any of that? All due respect to Michelle Obama, but you were wrong about that, Michelle. When they go low, we go fucking lower. And I think that's the argument. That's Rick Wilson, who appeared on the I've Had It podcast. And he's right. He's right. I mean, there's a few other things that I would add. I would immediately say we're gonna I would say blow the fucking filibuster up, pass meaningful firearm legislation. Requires us getting the Senate. But these are the kinds of things that I would be pushing right now. Go out and talk about it right now. As we gain momentum from the special elections or 2 Tuesdays ago, 3 Tuesdays ago, whatever it is. And I know that people were disappointed and or offended regarding those 8 senators, but I think we've moved past that now because public opinion polling still blames Republicans. Still, Donald Trump's favorability numbers are still tanking, right? I would do exactly as he described it right now. Right now. And, allow the right to be petrified. Because I say that to you because I'm going to play some sound now from Jack Posobiec, who's a total fucking simp. Speaking of simps.
100,000.
Most of you know who Jack Posobiec is. He's a hardcore MAGA. He is trying to replace Charlie Kirk in a strange way. So he did this event over the weekend in New York, or last week, where he went to New York City with the Freedom T-shirts, right, from Turning Point. I just want you to listen to what he has to say because it's extremely important because he's right. This is the fight of our lives.
Freedom Tower here. There's obviously the 9/11 history. And we came in because we said freedom is not going to go.
Let me start this from the beginning.
Much
here you go.
Last couple of months with violence, not just what happened to Charlie, but I think violence in our whole country. There's been upheaval. And we tried to come out there last night to do something that would highlight something positive, something good, to show that there's still goodness in the world, to show that there's a chance for redemption, even in many cases. And so, look, we had 3,000 shirts. We had no idea if that was, people would want them, if we could even get 3,000 out. We handed out all 3,000 in just 1 hour.
You needed more.
We ran out. We completely ran out.
And look, here's video of you doing just that. Talk to me about the fact that you chose to come to one of, if not the most progressive, liberal left cities in the country, just elected a socialist mayor, and yet you came in here.
Well, look, here's what it is, right? We're either going to get MAGA or we're going to get Marxism.
So that's how they're going to condition this going forward, right? They understand they're losing popularity because they have no policies that provide anything for the middle class. So Jack Posobiec's like, okay, it's either MAGA or Marxism, even though that no one on the right can even define what Marxism is. They are the reason they're not afraid of Zohran Mamdani because of who he is. They're afraid of the fact that what he wants to do, if successful, is going to blow their fucking mind. Because the threats of the billionaires and the millionaires leaving New York City, let them fucking go. Nobody gives a shit anymore. Nobody fucking cares. So he's trying to frame this, it's either MAGA or Marxism, even though they don't know what Marxism is. And if I had to choose, give me Marxism all day, every day, and twice on Sunday, as my dad used to say. But they're not gonna leave. So this is part of the argument. This is how they're trying to defend all this bullshit. They're not afraid of. Listen, we know they're not afraid of. They like to claim that Zohran Mamdani is a jihadist. They want to make that's part of the argument. That's where in the deepest, like in the subreddits and on Newsmax and all those other far right news organizations, they make the claim that he's a jihadist, which we know is just not fucking true. But they're okay with the new Syrian president al-Shara, who was an actual jihadist, a leader of al-Qaeda in Iraq, had a $10 million bounty out on his head, part of beheading campaigns for American soldiers. They're totally fine with that. Him being in the Oval Office on Veterans Day, shaking the president's hand. They're fine with that, though. This is what I'm talking about, right? So we can dunk on their contradictions and their hypocrisy all day, every fucking day. Jack Posobiec is an anal polyp, and his entire identity is connected to this entire thing. He's looking to replace Charlie. He's lobbied over the years for positions in the cabinet, or in the administration, I should say. He'll probably get one because he fits the criteria. No qualifications, stupid, ignorant, dumb, and stupid. Yeah, he'll probably get a cabinet appointment or some ambassadorship or something, but whatever. So that's part of the fight, right? Part of the fight. They're trying to position this as it's the fight for your lives. It's either MAGA or Marxism. It's either MAGA or Medicare for all. It's either MAGA or overinvesting in our public education system. It's either MAGA or packing the court with liberal judges. It's either MAGA or protecting women's rights to their body. It's either MAGA or defending the rights of marginalized communities. It's either MAGA or going after tax cheats and fraud. It's either MAGA or responsible firearm legislation. You can decide. Choice is pretty clear to me. And, the infighting now, it's not even going to be on the left to divide the right, because there's the MAGA movement and there's the America First movement, and they are making clear distinctions. A lot of other people might be playing sound from MTG. I'm not interested because MTG is still a horrible, despicable person who's trying to reinvent her image. But she's in the crosshairs of the president, right? She's in the crosshairs of the president because she's on the America First mindset. Or she's trying to become the leader of America First, and Trump's holding on to the same script, MAGA. So the right's going to have to make up their mind. Yeah, I'm not going to play sound from her because she's just a despicable person. Now, she signed the discharge petition. Okay, I'll give her credit. We're going to talk about that in just a minute. But fuck her. She's fuck her. All right. See a lot of guests, guys. I'm probably just gonna. I'll get to you, but there's a few things I want to cover off on this morning. Thank you all for being here. Let me just check in over here real quick. We are crowdfunded here, guys. If you want to support the channel, excuse me, I appreciate that. We are at Factsstillmatter on all Cash App, PayPal, Venmo. Let's see on Cash App. This is KC, I guess it is. KC says, found you for the first time today. Here's $5. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Okay. We've basically caught, so I'm not going to get into some of the gory details. There's a couple of trigger warnings because I do want to play some sound from Megyn Kelly again. We touched on it a little bit last week, the despicable things that she said. And that's led into other things as they attempt to try to say, because they know that he being Trump, they know that he's on the list. Before I do that, I want to give you guys a little bit of a story here. So there's this company called Courier, and they made this searchable database of a lot of the files. The Wall Street Journal did a report on it. I'm going to play these. I'm going to play the sound from Jen Psaki did a good breakdown. Somebody sent to me on MSNBC.
And of justice is still.
So I'm gonna play it for you, and I'll give you the visuals that go to support this story, and I'll bring it up for you. I'll explain to you why I'm bringing it up when it's done. I love talking about healthcare, but it gets me all fired up because it's personal. It should be personal for everybody. It just pisses me off that they just continue to do this shit. So I'm gonna play the sound from Jen Psaki.
More than 23,000 Epstein emails into a searchable database, which is quite a service. And the one name that appears more than any other in all of those emails.
So this is they did a bubble. These are all each dots represents an email, right? An email communication that the House Oversight Committee has. Okay, this is the dot. Okay, so I'll let her tell you the rest of the story, and then I'll share with you the graphics to represent it.
Is Donald Trump's. The Wall Street Journal has even created.
Okay, so this is Larry Summers. I'm going to share this with you because it has to do with what that Donald Trump wants to have happen now with his perceived, political enemies. This is Larry Summers. 117 of the 2,324 email threads that they have. Okay. This is Bill Clinton. 512 of the 2,324 email threads. And this is Trump. 1,670, well over half, 2/3 of the total amount of email threads that they captured that was released by the House Oversight Committee. Okay, so that's for context. So here's the story again.
Created a handy visualization guide to show just how much each figure is mentioned over time in these emails. Also a service. The blue dots here represent each of the Epstein emails that mention former President Clinton. These ones represent each time the emails mention former Treasury Secretary Larry Summers. And these ones represent all the mentions of Donald Trump. Far more, by a lot, than any of the people Trump just decided to investigate. And that is just from these 23,000 emails. I mean, who knows how many times Trump has mentioned in the estimated 100,000 files.
Correct.
The Department of Justice is still refusing to release.
Correct. So the reason, and it's funny because as I was showing that, I was watching the chat go by. It proves nothing. It does. It proves a lot. It proves that he is all over the information that we want investigated. It proves that he has been lying to you. Okay? So for context, on Lie Social, he posted, you guys have probably seen this by now, or at least talked about it by now. He's asked his attorney general to go after his political enemies. So this post was from Friday. Now that the Democrats are using the Epstein hoax, remember that word because we're going to go back to it, are using, actually you guys like this. Let me find it. Hold on a second.
Now that the Democrats are using the Jeffrey hoax involving Democrats, not Republicans, to try and deflect from their disastrous shutdown and all of their other failures, I will be asking AG Pam Bondi and the Department of Justice together with our great patriots at the FBI, to investigate J.E.'s involvement and relationships with Bill Clinton, Larry Summers, Reid Hoffman, J.P. Morgan, Chase, weird, and many other people and institutions to determine what was going on with them and him. This is another Russia scam with all arrows pointing to the Democrats. Records show that these men and many others spent large portions of their life with Jeffrey and on his island. Stay tuned.
So I find that interesting. For one, because it's the same old argument it's always been. It's a hoax. Well, if it's a hoax, then why all the kerfuffle? I'll get into that in just a moment, but I was reminded of something that came out from Pam Bondi a while back. Let me see. I have it here someplace. Hang on. So on July, let me just get the date. July 20th of this year, okay? From the U.S. Department of Justice, Federal Bureau of Investigation. No signature. This came from that office. I'm just going to read this to you. As part of our commitment to transparency, the Department of Justice and the FBI have conducted an exhaustive review of investigative holdings relating to JE. To ensure that the review was thorough, the FBI conducted digital searches of its databases, hard drives, network drives, as well as physical searches of squad areas, locked cabinets, desks, closets, and other areas where responsive material may have been stored. These searches uncovered a significant amount of material, including more than 300 gigabytes of data and physical evidence. The files relating to JE, including a large volume of images of E, images and videos of victims, survivors, who are either minors or appear to be minors, and over 10,000 downloaded videos and images of illegal CSAM, which is child sexual abuse material, and other pornography. Teams of agents, analysts, attorneys, and privacy and civil liberties experts comb through the digital and documentary evidence with the aim of providing as much information as possible to the public while simultaneously protecting victims. Much of the material is subject to court-ordered sealing. We'll talk about that in a minute. Only a fraction of this material would have been aired publicly had Epstein gone to trial, as the seal served only to protect victims and did not expose any additional third parties to allegations of illegal wrongdoing. Through this review, we found no basis to revisit the disclosure of those materials and will not permit the release of child pornography. This part here. The systematic review revealed no incriminating client list. There was no credible evidence found that JE blackmailed prominent individuals as part of his actions. We did not uncover evidence that could predicate an investigation against uncharged third parties. Consistent with prior disclosures, this review confirmed that JE harmed over 1,000 victims. Each suffered unique trauma. Sensitive information relating to these victims is intertwined throughout the emails. This includes specific details such as victim names and likenesses, physical descriptions, places of birth, associates, and employment history. One of our highest priorities is combating child exploitation and bringing justice to the victims. Perpetuating unfounded theories about Epstein serves neither of those needs. To that end, we will have labored to provide the public with maximum information regarding JE and ensured examination of any evidence in the government's possession. It is the determination of the Department of Justice and the Federal Bureau of Investigation that no further disclosures would be appropriate or warranted. After a thorough investigation, FBI investigators concluded that JE committed self-unalived in his cell at the Metropolitan Correctional Center in New York on August 10th, 2019. This conclusion is consistent with previous findings, including the August 19, 2019 autopsy of the New York City's Office of the Chief Medical Examiner, the November 2019 position of the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York in connection with the investigation of federal correction officers responsible for guarding him, and the June 2023 conclusion of the DOJ's Office of the Inspector General. The conclusion that Epstein took his own life is further supported by video footage from the common area of the Special Housing Unit where E was housed at the time of his death. As DOJ's Inspector General explained in 2023, anyone entering or attempting to enter the tier where Epstein's cell was located from the SHU common area would have been captured by this footage. We'll get to that in just a second, too. The FBI's independent review of this footage confirmed that from the time E was locked in his cell at around 10:40 p.m. on August 9th, 2019, until around 6:30 a.m. the next morning, nobody entered any of the tiers. During this review, the FBI enhanced the relevant footage by increasing its contrast, balanced the color, and improved its sharpness for greater clarity and viewability. The full raw enhanced videos are available at the following links. Okay, so the statement here, the systematic review revealed no incriminating client list. There was no credible evidence found that Epstein blackmailed prominent individuals as part of his actions. We did not uncover evidence that could predicate any further investigations against uncharged third parties. This is a confession, in my opinion. This is a confession. So when you're asking your AG to only investigate Democrats, and again, based on the emails that I share with you, the story that the Wall Street Journal did, where Trump is mentioned the most out of anybody on the list in connection with Epstein, you wouldn't be asking them to do that unless you were trying to throw the wolves off the scent. Okay? So this statement from the Attorney General back in July makes it very clear, according to them. Now, we can say that this is bullshit, but according to them, there's nothing to see here. There's no further investigations necessary. Case closed. And then that lie about the video footage. Don't forget, Pam Bondi went on record saying there's a missing minute. Mods, could you find that missing minute thing for me again, if you guys wouldn't mind? The whole missing minute thing, right? The missing minute, there's a minute missing, it's the minute, and it's a minute missing, and the whole fucking bullshit story that Pam Bondi had to come up with. This is a cover-up of global proportions. What do I got here? Okay, sounds good. Thanks, buddy. Okay. What people need to understand here, right, is that what they're attempting to do is distract their base. It's not difficult to do that because it doesn't matter what they say. So I want to go back to something that the right is trying to hold on to, that the Obama and Biden appointed judges kept this information from going public, or when the Department of Justice petitioned these judges to release grand jury testimony. That's what they're holding on to, because that relates to what they're potentially trying to do now. Okay? So let's not get distracted. Let's remember what's up. Let me just check here real quick. Hang on one second, guys. Okay. As I was just discussing this with you guys, the whole missing minute bullshit. So this is Pam Bondi's spin. Now, which contradicts what I just read to you about the missing minute. Which is the conclusion that J.E. unalived by self-unaliving is further supported by video footage from the common area of the special housing unit, where E was housed at the time of his death, as DOJ's Inspector General explained in the 2023. Anyone entering or attempting to enter the tier where his cell was located from the SHU common area would have been captured by this footage. The FBI's independent review of such footage confirmed that from the time Epstein was locked in his cell at around 10:40 p.m. on August 9th, 2019, until around 6:30 a.m. the next morning, nobody entered any of those tiers. That's their statement in this memo that she sent out in July. Here's the problem with that, because of what Pam said in this infamous interview. Okay.
They redo that video. It's old, from like 1999. And the minute missing from the video, we released the video showing definitively the video was not conclusive, but the evidence prior to it was showing he committed suicide. And what was on that, there was a minute that was off the counter. And what we learned from Bureau of Prisons was every night, they redo that video. It's old, from like 1999. So every night the video is reset, and every night should have the same minute missing. So we're looking for that video to release that as well, showing that a minute is missing every night. And that's it on Epstein.
She's a shitty liar. Like if we were to rank the liars in the Trump administration, She's the worst. She's the worst of them all because she literally can't keep her lies straight. I mean, the most prolific liar is the twice impeached, four-time indicted, sexually abusing, fraudster, convicted felon, name on a list predator. He's the most prolific. And then we could rank them. But she's shitty. She's a horrible liar. Her own statement contradicts what she said. Literally, her own statement said, we've got this. There's no evidence of anybody coming in from 10:40 p.m. to 6:40 a.m. the next morning. And then we found out that, nope, there was not a missing minute. So MAGA, I know that there's many of you in the chat today because you're always here because you love me and you know you do. Kiss, kiss. Petitions for the thruple? No, I don't think you're deserving because your hands are too rough. I prefer gentle and soft. And to RTP's famous words, you're all pussy ass bitches. All right. But Pam Bondi is the worst of the worst because the evidence is overwhelming. She said there's no, in her memo, she said there is no evidence to continue an investigation. There's no client list. There's no evidence of blackmail. None of that. None of it. None of that exists. And in her own statement again, we've got the video footage. Anything, if there was anybody that entered the room between 10:40 p.m. and 6:40 a.m. the next morning, we would know. And then you use the argument about the missing minute. And then we've proven that that missing minute wasn't missing. In fact, it was there because when we actually saw the footage, we saw that there was some activity outside of his cell by people in the prison responding to his cell phone unaliving. So what would you like us to do with this information? Now, you can say that there's no evidence of Donald Trump's criminality. None of us have made that accusation. I'm not. I'm only going on what we know. We know that he is all over all these documents, from all over it. We know that the research that's been done, this right here, this was done by Courier, who did this investigation, downloadable, searchable files, the 20,000 or so documents with 2,324 emails. Donald Trump's name is mentioned in 1,670, compared to Bill Clinton, 512, compared to Larry Summers, 117. So why then are we opening an investigation into them when Pam Bondi told us there was nothing else to see? So why is that? Why is it that we're investigating these people and not the person who? I think I know why. I wouldn't want to be investigated either. So instead, you'll just lie. You'll just lie about it. So the argument that the right is trying to make now as to why the information wasn't released during the Biden administration. Now listen, I'll go on the record saying that there's a lot of people connected to these kinds of things. And we can look at 5 administrations since this has happened. It goes back to when he was prosecuted initially under the Bush administration, right into the Obama administration, then to Trump, then to Biden, and back to Trump again. The only one from my perspective that has any sort of acknowledgement that evidence was under seal was during the Biden administration, because there was an appeal process happening. So the right wants to say, why wasn't this information released during the Biden administration? Well, because the case was still happening and it's appeal. So think about this argument now, right? What the Trump administration is now attempting to do is to open an investigation under false pretenses, contradicting what they've done, meaning that Pam Bondi has already said there's nothing else to see here. Open an investigation because now we can't release anything because it's an active investigation, which is exactly what was happening in the Biden administration. Although it wasn't an investigation then, the case was still happening, so it was part of the appeals process. So if it were me, all right, and if I was the one that was being accused of some of the worst crimes in the world, I would do everything I can to clear my name. Everything to clear my name. There is no, in my opinion, there is no harsher crime than crimes against children. None. So if that were the case, I would do everything in my power to clear my name. And he's doing exactly the opposite. Exactly the opposite. The question is why? We know why, or I should say, we can assume why. Because he knows he's in it, and he knows he's done these things. I'm going to spend a little bit of time this morning kind of debunking the whole timeline. He's gone on the record saying we didn't speak for 15 years. 2004, when the relationship ended, depending on who you want to believe, and 2019 when he took his own life. Okay? He took his own life. We have evidence from the emails that that's just not the case. We've got 3 stories as to how their relationship ended. A real estate deal. Trump kicked him out because he was stealing his employees, or in Caroline Levitt's own words, he kicked him out because he knew he was a P3DO and a creep. So which one is it? When you base your entire political life on lies and rhetoric, and you can't keep your lies straight, then you're stuck. So let's go back to the whole claim that the right is now making that it was Obama, Biden judges that kept this information secretive, or that kept it. Why did they attempt to block it? And then we're going to discuss the whole unanimous consent bullshit that's blown up on Republicans, which is why they're not talking about it anymore. I'll get to that in just a minute. So 3 judges involved in this: Judge Paul Engelmeyer, Judge Richard Berman, and Judge Robin Rosenberg. On August 11th, 2025, U.S. District Judge Paul Engelmeyer in New York denied the motion to unseal grand jury transcripts in the Maxwell case. This is reported by the AP. He emphasized that federal law, quote, almost never allows public release of grand jury materials, and that such exceptions should not be applied, quote, casually or promiscuously. He rejected the administration's central argument that the transcripts would reveal meaningful new information about J.E. and Maxwell or their investigation, calling that premise demonstrably false. He noted that a person familiar with the Maxwell trial who reviewed the transcripts, quote, would learn next to nothing new because the transcripts did not identify clients, new locations of crimes, new methods, or add to the understanding of the investigation. Judge Engelmeyer is signaling that in his request to unseal is not being justified under the narrow, exceptional circumstances standard. Even in Todd Blanche, who represented the government in this case, even he knew going in that this was outside of scope. The grand jury testimony is, we still have some jurisprudence in our country. It's not just because you ask for it doesn't mean you're going to get it. And that's what the right has been conditioned. That if you ask for something, if you say, well, we're expecting to get this, well, that's not how it works. It's just not how it works. Richard Berman. On August 20th, 2025, U.S. District Judge Richard Berman rejected the Justice Department's request to release grand jury transcripts in the Epstein case. This is from The Guardian. Key statements by the judge. He noted that the government already had around 100,000 pages of the Epstein investigative materials, and that roughly 70 pages of grand jury transcripts pale in comparison to that trove. He described the request to unseal the transcript as appearing to be a diversion from the broader disclosure of the government could make on its own. He pointed out the grand jury testimony consisted only of a testimony of an FBI agent with no direct knowledge of the facts and mostly hearsay. Judge Robin Rosenberg, July 2025, U.S. District Judge Robin Rosenberg in Florida rejected the request to unseal transcripts of grand jury investigations between 2005 and 2007. She held that the request did not meet any of the, quote, extraordinary exceptions under federal law that enables the disclosure of grand jury materials. She emphasized that the grand jury proceedings are secret for a reason, and the statutory framework imposes a high bar for public release. So can we push that into the fucking drawer and leave it there now? Even the DOJ knew that they were not going to get this information, but they're going to use it as a talking point. Why did these Obama and Biden appointed judges do this shit? They're trying to hide something. No, they followed the law. Now, I understand that the right doesn't give a fuck about the law. I get that. That makes total sense. But it does still exist. Grand juries are secretive by design. Witnesses have rights. Grand jury members have rights. People involved have rights. They did not meet the standard. So that's why they denied the request. And Judge Berman's the one like, you guys have got over 100,000 pages of stuff. You don't need our permission. So it's another lie that they're telling you, they being the Trump administration, which speaks to the new statement from the president that came out yesterday that got everybody's attention. And I'll read that one to you. Everybody keep tapping and sharing, please. Let's see here. he's back on this whole thing about J6 again. Wow, he is desperate. Okay. As you know, we discussed to start the show, the vote to release the Epstein files or the discharge petition happens tomorrow. The expectation is, who knows, but I gave you the number. See if you guys were paying attention last week. I told you there's a veto-proof number that needs to happen. Do you remember what that number is in the House? See, you guys are paying attention. I think you know. You're the smartest chat on TikTok. Anybody remember that number? Yes. Yeah, 290. 290 would be 2/3. 435 House members, 2/3 of that would be 290. That's the veto-proof number that would need to happen in the House. We'll talk about the Senate in just a moment. This came out from the president, and people were scratching their head like, what the fuck is he trying to say now? So hang on, let me just find the right quote. If you haven't been to True Social in a while, it's just a big ad. It's one big advertisement. This statement he made last night, it's a Democrat hoax for purposes of deflection, just like Russia scam. They had a sleazy relationship with Epstein and should be prosecuted. Never before in American history has the president directed a Department of Justice to go after a private citizen. Never. It's never happened. And he's telling you out loud, and you guys are okay with it. Just the one? Okay, here we go.
As I said on Friday night aboard Air Force One to the fake news media, House Republicans should vote to release the Epstein files.
I was like, all right, where's this going?
Because we have nothing to hide.
What?
Okay. And it's time to move on from this Democrat hoax perpetrated by radical left lunatics in order to deflect from the great success of the Republican Party. Yeah, when we deny SNAP benefits and cut people's health care and zip-tie kids, we're fucking awesome. Woo! Including our recent victory on the Democrat shutdown. The Department of Justice has already turned over tens of thousands of pages to the public on Jeffrey. Are looking at various Democrat operatives, Bill Clinton, Reid Hoffman, Larry Summers, Bubba, and the relationship to Jeffrey and the House Oversight Committee can have whatever they are legally entitled to.
Now, that's an interesting statement to put in there. Whatever they're legally entitled to. The reason I went through the judge's response is directly as it relates to that. Because the Department of Justice is not under any judicial order to release information. It is in their possession. They have it. The judges themselves have said, you guys can release this. You've got all the information. You've got it all. So they're lying to you again. And what they're going to use this argument in an attempt to try to deflect and not release information. That statement right there. Their relationship
to Jeffrey and the House Oversight Committee can have whatever they are legally entitled to. I don't care. All I do care about is the Republicans get back on point, which is the economy, affordability, where we're winning big, okay, our victory on reducing inflation, okay, from the highest level in history, okay, to practically nothing, bringing down prices for the American people, delivering historic tax cuts, gaining trillions of dollars of investment into America, a record. The rebuilding of our military, securing our border, deporting criminal illegal aliens, ending men and women's sports, stopping transgender for everyone, and so much more. Nobody cared about J.E. when he was alive, and if the Democrats had anything, they would have released it before our landslide election victory. Some members of the Republican Party are being used, and we can't let that happen. Let's start talking about the Republican Party's record-setting achievements. Okay, and not fall into the Epstein trap, which is actually a curse on the Democrats, not us. Make America great again.
So, these things have always worked for him in the past. This kind of rhetoric has always worked. this kind of, fresh meat to the base. I mean, that whole statement about, deporting criminal legal aliens, ending men and women's sports, stopping transgender for everyone. That's always worked. It's always worked for him. It's not working anymore. It's not working. Again, I am not going to give any credit to MGG, but she's calling it out. You're not talking about affordability. You made promises about this. You made promises about that. Right? It's just not working anymore. I mean, it will work with some, right? It will work with some. I was in a live over the weekend, and we were having a pretty decent conversation. I mean, people were respectful. Even the host acknowledged. This is for you guys. I'm going to say this. I always tell you guys you're the smartest chat on TikTok. The host acknowledged that a lot of people who support me daily were in that chat as I was having a conversation with people. And the host said how respectful you guys were, right? And people in the panel were just like, what? And the host is like, yeah, we disagree, but your chat's been incredibly kind and, respectful and not insulting. And I was like, okay, that's you guys. That's you guys. But again, this has been the entire game that they've had from the beginning. And we're going to throw this bullshit rhetoric out there, and our people will gobble it up, right? And our people will gobble it up. It's just not working anymore. It's just not working. And they're caught in their lies. So my expectation is this. He tells the Republicans in the House to go ahead and vote for it. The expectation is there could be as many as 100 Republicans are going to flip. So 4 so far, it's the 4 names we know, Massey, Mace, MTG, and Boebert. So that brings the number to 218. You add another 96 to that number, and that's over 300 people in the House, right? Political pressure means a lot. The argument, if we were to game this out, right? Over 300, let's just assume it's 290. Let's just use that number. So that's the veto proof. So just for people who asked, the House passes this with that veto proof number. The Senate passes it, right? If they do, it goes to his desk. He's going to be faced with an interesting dilemma. Now, what's worse? Vetoing it or not? And I would argue that the veto is a lot worse, because the veto then goes against what the majority of the people represented in Congress want. If you veto it, then there's no argument that you are obviously covering up something. We already know you are. So what's the Senate going to do? I don't know what the Senate's going to do. I'll be really curious about this vote tomorrow. 290 is the magic number. I'd be really, really curious about that vote tomorrow, because it's going to tell us a lot, right? We'll see. But it's interesting, again, going back to his statement, all the things that they can legally release. So there is it's a distraction. They're trying to distract. Well, you're right. The veto is admission of guilt. It sure is. So the veto is an admission of guilt. Letting the files that the DOJ has in their possession come out is also an admission of guilt, because that will show everything we've been talking about. And no, the Senate will have to vote on it. Yes. The problem that they've created for themselves is that memo. Like, I don't think so. Due respect to mainstream media, which I despise, people like RTP, people like others, people like ourselves here, we'll try to be independent journalists, and we'll approach these things by painting the picture. So we go back and we find the memo that Pam Bondi put out saying there's nothing to see here. Case closed. There is no evidence of conspiracy. There's no evidence of blackmail. There's no evidence of any of this kind of stuff. Then what are we investigating by opening up a selective investigation on your political enemies? And like those of us on the left, we don't give a fuck who is on the list. We don't care. I just don't care, right? You can't have it both ways. You can't say it's a hoax. You can't be using everybody in your administration, every mouthpiece you have, every single one. You can't be using that argument and then say, on the other hand, open up the investigation. They're going to attempt to use the fact that, again, that statement, everything that they can legally release. They can legally release all of it. They can. They are in possession of it. It is now in the hands of the American taxpayer. We fund it. Documents belong to us. The judges have already ruled. There's nothing else here. You've not met any standard. Judge Berman said again, the grand jury testimony consisted only of the testimony of an FBI agent with no direct knowledge of the facts and, quote, was mostly hearsay anyway, as reported by the AP. There is nothing legally that would constrain the FBI from releasing the over 100,000 pages that they are in possession of. And remember the clear divide here, right? The Oversight Committee, chaired by James Comer, by the way. So he's been, I don't know what the internal communications have been like, but a lot of the information that we got, including all the emails that came out last week, that came from subpoenas by the Oversight Committee to the Epstein estate that got the information. The discharge petition is entirely separate. This goes to the DOJ. That's Epstein from Welcome Back, Kotter. Most of you don't even know. Gregory said, this it's so funny. I thought more people would understand who that is, but anyway, it doesn't matter. The discharge petition goes directly at the Department of Justice. I've gone through the language. I don't need to read it anymore to you, but we'll post it in the general chat. Pam Bondi, you guys have to explain yourself. You guys have to explain yourself. You got the data. You've got all this information. We want it. We want it all. We want it. You're in possession of it. There is no judge in the land that has put any of this under seal. The language in the discharge petition directly points to the protection of innocent names, survivors, redaction of names, as long as there is documentation as to why it's redacted. So they're stuck. They're really, really, really stuck. And it's because it's a cover-up. I don't know why. Well, again, I know why, but it's a weird one. Like, why would we be, how do I want to say this to make it an objective point? The right believes that we don't want the information to come out because there's Democrats on it. That's what they think. I don't give a fuck. This thing should not be political under any circumstance. It should not be political. We're talking about crimes against children. Okay? It should not be political. So here we are. They're trying to, they're making assumptions. It's funny because they laugh about it. You guys don't want this to come out because Clinton's on it. We're like, we don't give a fuck. And then what are they supposed to say? We don't care. Oh yeah, you do. No, we don't. We don't care. You guys don't want the information to come out because Trump's in it. Trump's not in it. Well, he's in it 1,600 times according to this email. That's just fake news. So, but Larry Summers and Bill Clinton's names mentioned in the same emails, that's true? Yes. That's where we're at, friends. Right? That's kind of where we're at. We're sort of in this, I don't know what you want to call it, like the bizarro world or whatever. That's where we're at. They are unwilling to see. The problem is that they expect us to view politics the same way they do. They expect us to worship our politicians. They expect us to be, just to have this fervor in support of our elected officials that they do. That they expect us to have merch. They expect us to get tattoos. No, we don't. You do. So when we say, we don't give a fuck, lock them all up. We don't fucking care, lock them all up. That they don't believe it because they would never say that about their guy. I remember that poll that came out. I think the company's called Ledger, L-E-G-E-R. 47% of Republicans surveyed in this poll said, even if there was insurmountable evidence, 4K HD video of Donald Trump assaulting girls, 47% of Republicans surveyed would still support him. Not that the poll did not say that they would advocate for that level for that abuse, but that they would still support him. So we know there's no line. We know there's no line. And even people like, see, this is the thing about it. This is what cracks me up. So you get comments like this, right? All Democrats do is lie. I mean, this is what I'm talking about. This is why it's so just challenging, because people on the right just genuinely think that we fucking care who's on the list. We don't. We don't give a shit. Lock them all up. Keep tapping, friends.
Good
Morning, Pelican. How are you today?
Hey there. I didn't mean to request, but always love your show, and it's a daily thing for me.
Thank you very much for saying that. I appreciate it. You have a good day. Be safe out there. Oh, thanks. Sorry about that. Yes, I hate it when I do that. Seriously, though, we don't care. And most people, independents don't care either. Independents, for the most part, and there's probably a lot of conservative Republicans that are just done with this bullshit. It's you, MAGA. You're the ones that are protecting your guy. You're the ones that are using the mental gymnastics like I've never seen before in my life to try to defend a predator. Do you understand? You can't have it both ways. You can't claim that there's nothing here that there's no direct evidence that he committed crimes. We agree. But he's implicated, which is why we want to investigate it. Why can't you say the same thing? Why can't you say the same thing? Why can't you just say, we want all the information out? I know why. The reason is because this is the epitome of identity politics. You've hooked your entire identity to this guy. Everything in your life revolves around him. You are, if we were to look up TDS in the dictionary, your face would be there. You have Trump derangement syndrome because it doesn't matter what he does, you're all in. So if this is the one thing, like holy shit, if he is actually part of this, then that means I've been supporting a predator for the last 10 years. You're going to have to live with that. You're going to have to live with that. That's not coming from us. That's you. We tried to tell you. So I would like to see MAGA in the chat to say, release the files. Stop trying to make excuses. Stop trying to say, what about Biden? Okay. I'll remind you. I'm going to get into this story from JP Morgan Chase has responded because they're like, wait a minute. We gave information about Epstein's financial transactions to the first Trump administration back in 2019. Why was nothing done then? It's because he's on the fucking list. I am not making the claim that he's committed crimes against children because I don't believe in accusing someone until they get their day in court. What I can look at is all these threads, all these lies, all these contradictions. Everything just doesn't line up. You can't say you had no contact for 15 years and then be mentioned in these emails. You can't say the emails aren't real because they include Trump's name and say they are real because they include Bill Clinton's and Larry Summers' name. You guys are stuck. You're stuck. You've hitched your wagon to a despicable human being. We can all agree. We can all agree that J.E. is one of the worst human beings to ever walk the earth. We can agree on that, right? The things that J.E. has said about Donald Trump should tell you everything you need to know. Where's the quote? This is great. Let me see if I can find the quote. Let's see. This is from the Oversight Committees releasing their emails in 2017. This is from Jeffrey Epstein. I have met some very bad, quote, I have met some very bad people. None as bad as Trump. Not one decent cell in his body. MAGA, a question for you. The question for you is this. If you agree that Jeffrey Epstein is one of the most despicable human beings on the earth, I hope you think that. I don't know. At this point, I'm not even sure anymore. And for him to say that about your guy, shouldn't that tell you something? Shouldn't that tell you something? Why are you going to all these? Why are you reaching so far to try to defend this shit? The best thing for you to do at this point is to go dark. It's just to go silent, because it looks bad. It really, really looks bad. And I don't know how to help you. I really don't. Mother Trucker, how are you today?
Hi, I'm good. I was perusing lives last night, and your name came up in a horrible live that I happened to jump into. They said you had some kind of past. I don't know. I was just like, they're just, and they were
cool.
Yeah, that was my thought.
Yeah, I'm 58. I do have a past.
Yeah,
58 years of it.
Same. Many things I'm not proud of, but that's what makes us us. Anyways, it would just be interesting to find out what MAGA people think of the Bill Cosby situation. How he had how many? 3 come forward. I can't remember how many. And all the only evidence they had was their testimony. His name wasn't in a huge emails. It wasn't in some big files. It was just women that came forward. And he went to prison, right? For it?
Yeah.
So, I mean, how many of them turned their back on him after that? By just the words of women.
That's a good point. That's a really good point. Yeah. As far as what you said to start the show, I'll let my integrity stand where it stands. If people want to make accusations of me, I know plenty of lawyers. I'm fine. I'm good though. But I appreciate you bringing that up. Yeah.
Yeah. No, 100%. Like I said, I mean, I follow you and I love listening to you. It was just, and it was after the reason I ended up in that live was because somebody I follow was in there, debating our side, and they left the live. I can't remember why. And then sometimes I just sit and listen to their BS after, they leave, and they were just, throwing out several names, and I heard your name and I'm like, yeah. But of course, no proof of anything. So
of course not. Of course not. But I appreciate you bringing that to my attention today, and thanks for jumping in. I appreciate you very much. Be safe out there, okay?
Problem. Thank you.
All right. See you later. You got it. Bye.
Right, bye.
Here's an interesting comment from Furman. I'll post this for you. And this is inside the mind of MAGA right now. Now you want us to take Epstein's opinion as something we should listen to. Your logic escapes me. Thank you for proving my point. Thank you for exactly proving my point. You want to accept the fact that Bill Clinton, Larry Summers, and Reid Hoffman are connected, and we're like, if they are, we don't give a fuck. But you won't accept the fact that Donald Trump's name's all over this stuff. Make up your mind, Fernan. Just make up your mind. Which is it? You either believe it all or you believe none of it. Which is it? You cannot have it both ways. It doesn't work like that. I know you want it to. I know you want it to. I know you do. I know it's really important for you to try to find a way to get through it. But you know what, man? It makes it tough when you're that much of a simp. I don't know what to tell you. Don't know what to tell you. Hello, Michelle.
Hello, my friend. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? Thanks for being here.
Good, good. So I was kind of chatting a little bit with somebody else in the chat, and apparently nobody or not very many people remember the movie Gothica, starring Halle Berry.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so I mentioned in the chat that it's giving Gothica vibes because of like the psychological thriller type and who's involved and how deep it's going. And I thought I'd just come up and kind of like remind people, if you haven't seen it, check it out, because that's the vibe I've been getting the last several days with all of this coming out in the way that they're deflecting and trying to cover up for, who might be involved, and then having a conversation, of course, with my MAGA dad this weekend. And he's like, oh, it's all bullshit. You know, Epstein just hates Trump. That's why his name is mentioned. He's nothing to do with it. I was like, oh my God, I just can't with these people anymore.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really good point, right? I mean, I'm glad you said it the way you said it. Gothica, I mean, it's a great example. I forgot about that movie. Gonna have to watch it. Halle Berry. Oh, sorry, got distracted. Yeah. I'm sure everybody feels the same way, but you're right. This is the point that we're in now, and how desperate they are. Like how desperate they are to try to say, because that's been the model. That's the Roy Cohn. That's the Roger Stone. That's the Steve Bannon model. Just throw a bunch of shit out there. How does MAGA try to square this? So like your dad. I'm not sure how deep you would go down that road of conversation with him, but if he's convinced that that Bill Clinton and Larry Summers and others are connected to this, why is he not convinced that Donald Trump is? I think we know the answer. It's because of the cult, right?
Right. And his logic is what he tried to argue with me a couple weeks ago was, how come you can't see any of the good that he's done? And I said, what has he done that's good? Name me something. Name it. And he just gets mad. And he's like, well, you only read, supporting documents, things that support your side. I said, no, I don't. Yeah. I actually jumble both sides of the spectrum because I want to know where the facts lie and what I'm looking into. And if it's not connecting, like for me, things have to connect like a puzzle, make sense. If it's not making sense, I'm going to keep digging until I figure out why it's not making sense and then draw my own conclusions from that, my own opinions. Agreed. But I feel like everyone should be, in some sense, think like that. Like,
Yeah, challenge. I mean, we want to challenge our thinking, right? That's what I love about our community so much, is that we're not going to just, I don't want you guys to take my word for things. I'm going to provide information. I expect you to kind of say, okay, this makes sense, or I never thought about it that way, or what did he say? Or to challenge me. I mean, mods challenge me all the time. That's what's necessary. That's how we have good, civil discourse. We want the truth. I don't care about winning an argument. I just care about the truth getting out there. Right?
Yeah, exactly. And just like what Goldberry just said, what does it matter if he has done any good? He's on the list. We know that.
Correct. Exactly right. Exactly right. Exactly right. I love you, friend. Thanks for jumping in today. I appreciate you.
Thank you. Have a great one.
See you later.
I'm still here.
You too. Bye. I know. Bye. And she's right? Like we don't care. I mean, I really think that there's a lot of people in MAGA. If you go into these right spaces now, they're really stuck in this spot because they're trying hard to defend it. Like everything they say, it's still fake news. Well, what's fake? What's fake about it? If it's fake, then why are we using taxpayer dollars to open up an investigation? If it's fake, then why do you fucking care? Then you've got nothing to hide. Instead of doing everything you can to try to protect the information from coming out. It just doesn't track. It's like this really, really weird spot that they put themselves in. And I'm here for it. I'm making popcorn. Hey, buddy.
Hello, brother. I really wish you hadn't mentioned Halle Berry. It's a bit of a sore spot. She keeps calling me.
To move her car.
Well, yeah, I've had to tell her, look, I don't read a book twice. I'm just saying, yeah.
In your dreams, literally.
Two quick things. I'm sure you've seen that video from Dean's show of the guy now defending essaying 8-year-olds, or not defending, but asking what exactly is wrong with it.
Correct. Yeah, I've seen that.
It's indicative of the directions these people will go to continue to defend their leader. And,
correct.
Saying, no, we're not in a cult. We're not in a cult. Yeah, you are.
Yeah, you are.
And I was horrified when I watched that video. Absolutely horrified. And that this guy turned on the bro voice in the middle, it's like, I'm so cool. I know what I'm talking about. Ugh, you're an idiot. What's wrong with doing this? It's like, I'm sorry. Have we gotten to the point where we have to explain why these things are wrong instead of it being just common knowledge? And why is it that it doesn't matter how much good Magic Mouth Mango Tits has done? This trumps all of it. No pun intended. This trumps all of it. Every bit. It doesn't matter. And we can be angry. We can be disappointed in our leaders in our side of the aisle if they're on that list, if they've done these shenanigans. They just can't.
They can't.
They can't.
Well, it's because it's like we've talked about this before. It's because it's identity politics for them.
Yes.
Yeah. Because their entire self, their identity is now connected to it. So if there's anything, they'll refuse to believe any of this because their guy, who's looking out for him, who's a good Christian man, who would never do these things. If any of this becomes revealed, or if they admit that these things are real, then their entire identity is gone. And as Daniela has told us many, many times, she's like the biggest threat to a cult is not outside the cult, it's inside the cult.
Absolutely.
It's people within it. That's the biggest threat. And that's why you're starting to see people be like, I don't know if I can be connected to this shit. So I think about that vote tomorrow. It should be 435 to 0. It should be every single person in the House of Representatives should be voting to have this information, and then every single senator should be doing the exact same thing.
And they're not going to secret ballot it, correct? It's an open vote?
Correct. That's what the whole unanimous consent thing was before. Yeah. I'll dunk on that in just a minute. You're absolutely right. You're exactly right.
Sorry, early morning lungs.
I got you.
So before I drop, I find it ironic that the thing that ultimately brought down Nixon and is going to be the same thing that is going to bring down Trump. Deep throat.
Ultimately. Jesus Christ. Get the hell out of here. Have a good day. I love you, buddy. Well, in the whole Bubba thing, I think that's kind of more comical than anything else, to be honest. But what I find interesting on that is that story came out. Then we heard that Ghislaine Maxwell had a horse named Bubba. I'm not going there. But within 12 hours of that story breaking, there was a picture of Melania and Trump on whitehouse.gov and on his Truth Social and on X accounts of them talking about how much they loved each other. So, and then since we went there, Rusty, I hate to do this to you, but I'm going to do it anyway. Since we went there, I think it's almost necessary now. So you may remember this famous moment. Oh, hold on. Let me just pause that. Let me go here. Hang on a second. I had a lot of stuff going on here. I'm sorry, but I'm going to be petty for just a moment.
But Arnold Palmer was all man. And I say that in all due respect to women, and I love women. But this guy...
I love women too, but I don't just have to emphasize. I love women. I love women too, absolutely, no doubt. But I don't feel like I have to emphasize it. But maybe that's just me.
But Arnold Palmer was all man, and I say that in all due respect to women, and I love women. But this is a guy that was all man. His man was strong and tough. And I refuse to say it, but when he took showers with the other pros, they came out of there, they said, oh my God, that's unbelievable. I had to say it.
So, I don't know. I don't know. They always talk about when I first started in broadcasting, and one of the station managers that I was working for said, hey, listen, if you're on the air and you flub something and you make a mistake, just don't acknowledge it. We can fix it in post-production, or we can correct it tomorrow. So when you don't want to call attention to something, I should just say the worst thing to do if you don't want to call attention to something is to call attention to it. So now that we've got that sound and we've got this whole Putin, Trump blowing Bubba, whatever the fuck it is, it's just not a good look. And then we heard Alex Jones saying later, like, well, there's no video evidence of Trump blowing Bubba. Well, even if there is, it's better than World War III. Like, this is what happens when you are in this space. I never would have, I've added like 9,000 squares to my MAGA bingo card. I never would have had Trump blowing Bubba on my bingo card. Never. And if any of you said you did, you're all liars. You know that. But anyway, here we are. So the few things that I'm going to try to paint the timeline, because I don't know if this is being discussed enough, because one of the notions here is that that they had separated, their relationship had separated for 15 years, right? They didn't speak. So this is the first statement that Trump made on that particular topic. Let's see if I have it. This was the interview that he did when he was over in Turnberry, Scotland.
People keep writing stories like the time he threw him out of Mar-a-Lago. Can you settle that? What was it about?
That's such old history. Very easy to explain, but I don't want to waste your time by explaining it. But for years...
I don't want to waste your time by explaining it, but I'm going to explain it.
I wouldn't talk to Jeffrey Epstein. I wouldn't talk because he did something that was inappropriate. He hired help. And I said, don't ever do that again. He stole people that worked for me. I said, don't ever do that again. He did it again. And I threw him out of the place, persona non grata. I threw him out, and that was it. I'm glad I did, if you want to know the truth. And by the way, I never went to the island.
He did.
And Bill Clinton went there supposedly 28 times.
So just quickly. So in one of the emails that was released by Epstein, he said, no, Clinton never went to the island. Again, I'm not defending anybody connected to this. Anybody. But in Epstein's own words. So this is the thing. This is where MAGA's stuck now. Do you believe Epstein? Yes or no? And if you do, then you have to believe the fact that he's got all this evidence connected and all these emails connected to Donald Trump. If you don't, then you can't accept the fact that Bill Clinton, Larry Summers, J.P. Morgan, Reid Hoffman did something wrong. You guys are stuck. That's why it's just easier to come to the light with us and be like, we don't fucking care who's connected to this. We want them all. Every single one. I'm glad you said that, Wade. The island is irrelevant in this case because a lot of the crimes alleged happened in New York or in other places throughout the various properties that he has. Could have happened in England because we now we can poke holes in his 15 years no contact story because of what happened on a state visit as president, hanging out with Prince Andrew. So you can't have it both ways. And this is why we're trying to say it would just be easier for you guys to go on the record saying, we want all of the information in there. But Trump's not in it. He is in it. You can't deny the fact that his name is all over this. And just keep in mind this. This just comes from the oversight stuff. This is what we have from the oversight committees getting the subpoenaing, use of subpoena to get information from the Epstein estate. That's just from that one set of documents. Okay? So that's one part of the story. So that's one piece saying I didn't have contact with this guy for 15 years. So 2004 to 2019 when he lost his life. We know it's not true. Let's see desperation. This is desperation. Joe Biden couldn't even get a sentence out of his mouth. That's desperation. Zach, why don't you be an adult for once and just acknowledge the fact that your guy is implicated in all this stuff? No one is saying guilty. No one is saying he doesn't deserve his day in court. But you can't just continue to try to deflect away from the truth that he is all over these files. You can't do that. You can't have it both ways. You got to make up your mind one way or another. Do you either want the truth and justice for survivors, or do you want to live in the cult? Because you can't have it both ways. Okay? Just a little advice. It's a tough spot to be in, isn't it? Hey, Sarah, how are you?
Hi, friend. Good. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
So just really quickly to not kind of derail the conversation, but we are starting Banned Book Club on Monday. So this is your weekly 1 week reminder that next Monday after your show's done, we're going to do Banned Book Club over in Discord.
That's awesome. There's a channel. There's a banned book. You have to be part of the Discord, so please join our Discord. It's free to join. Just go through the verification steps, and there's a banned book channel in our Discord.
Yep, and we'll be doing it there. We're going to be starting with 1984. So if anyone wants to pre-read, or we're just doing chapters 1 and 2. So if anyone wants to pre-read, or if you're like me, a little bit of a slower reader, you can read chapters 1 and 2, and that's what we'll be discussing. Kind of the parallels to what we're seeing today. Exactly. That's great. Thank you for doing that along with Anachronista. Appreciate you guys doing that. Like I said, there's a channel in our Discord for the Banned Book Club, and we'll just be announcing that weekly, and then you guys can always tune into the channel in the Discord for updates. So, yes. So thank you very much for that reminder. I appreciate it. No problem. It's literally right after your show ends at noon. Was that what it is? Noon? So it's noon
Eastern time.
It's right
Correct.
over.
Yes.
Yep. Noon Eastern. I'll post links in the Discord with times, and we broke it out by time zone, and for all of our friends who may not be on Eastern Coast time.
Fantastic. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you.
Yeah, no problem.
Have a good day, and enjoy the book club.
Thanks.
I'll remind folks before we leave today. You got it.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, bye. That's a great thing. We're going to be doing that. It's just another feature. Become part of our community. Bonesaw, can you please request? Because you said what we're missing is irrefutable evidence, which is why we want all the information released. What part of that do you not understand? How do we get all of the information unless we have access to all the information? I've gone up here publicly. I'm not accused him of anything. I can certainly have my opinion, and I can certainly make lots of assumptions about his involvement in this, because there's nothing other than what we have so far. So if you want to clear your name, then we should see everything, right? So instead of just trying to hide behind the obvious that he's all over this shit, there is irrefutable evidence that he's in the files. That's irrefutable. There's no denying that. There is irrefutable evidence that he's lied about it. We have that absolute evidence of that. There's irrefutable evidence that they did, in fact, have contact for the 15 years that he claimed that they didn't. That is irrefutable. We have that from the records that we see here. So just jump on board. It's okay. It's okay. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. You can find some other cult to follow. Maybe join Scientology. You've got lots of options. So please do that. You like the shirt? Yeah. Misfit. Hermie? I want to be a dentist. Okay, here's another little timeline for you guys. This is sort of as we put the pieces together here, and we'll go through this again. You'll see kind of what I'm talking about how there's so many holes in this story. It's so easy to. Okay, Bonesai will. There's your request. Come on up and we can talk.
There we go. Can you hear me?
I can. So you said that we're missing irrefutable. You said that we're missing irrefutable evidence. Well, how do we get the evidence unless we have all the information at our disposal?
With victim statements, with
okay, we have that, but that's also included in some of the documents that the DOJ has. That's also in the DOJ information. That's also in the DOJ, though. That they also have that as well.
Of victims saying Trump was not in any of the supposed
Bonesaw,
situations.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question.
Yep.
Is it, do you believe it's a hoax?
Oh, no, there's absolutely hard evidence that this existed.
Okay, so but Trump, even just yesterday, said it was a hoax.
And see, that
So
I don't agree with. There's people that are Republicans such as myself that if Trump was included with this, throw the book at him.
Well, he is. He is included. We have his name all over these files that were released.
Exactly, but
times.
was it in formal settings such as somebody tagged him, CC'd him, somebody mentioned his name, Epstein saying something?
Yes. Do you hear what you're doing right now, man? This is what you're doing. This is, let me talk. Observationally, this is what you're doing. You are trying to find ways to poke holes in the obvious. He is referenced. It's like, do you believe that Bill Clinton is part of this?
I honestly couldn't tell you.
Okay, so then the only way to know would be to get everything. Would you agree that Donald Trump, would you agree that Donald Trump has been the one that's been stopping this?
Without being in the works with, federal investigators and everything else, how do you know for sure? You're just reading what people post. You can read court documents, but how do you know that's all that was submitted? And
no, that's not the question I asked, Bonesaw.
That's literally
not the question I asked. No, that's not the question I asked.
Your question, then.
Okay, so listen to my question. Okay, let's listen to my question. So the Department of Justice, right, is in the executive branch of our government. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
Okay, so then if information that exists in the Department of Justice, who's the leader of the executive branch?
Would be Trump.
Correct. So then if Trump told the Department of Justice to release everything, then what would the Department of Justice do?
Did you see Trump came out saying
answer my question, but Bonesaw, answer my question, please. Answer my question.
Well, there's endless variations that can answer your question.
Okay, again, see what you're doing right now? You're twisting yourself in a knot so tightly because you're convinced that Trump has done nothing wrong. So listen to my question,
I'm not
please.
saying that. We just need evidence. We need 100% irrefutable beyond a reasonable doubt.
How do we get the evidence unless the person who's been named and implicated, it keeps from stopping the evidence becoming released? Once again, let's go through the exercise. The Department of Justice is an executive branch agency. Would you agree?
Yes.
Okay, so then under the direction of the president, he directed his attorney general to open investigation into certain people. So if he can do that, he can also direct his attorney general to release all the documents, right?
Right.
So then why hasn't he?
Because he was already investigated.
That's not what Bonesaw, dude.
Literally, that was your question. Why didn't he? Because he was already investigated. That was your question.
No.
Yes.
No, it was not my question. Listen again, man. Listen.
Keep
what I'm asking you to do.
Questions.
Bonesaw, I'm going to ask you the same question again. You said you want irrefutable evidence. Is that what you want?
Yes.
Okay. So what we have so far, I would agree with you, does not connect him specifically to crimes. We have his name referenced in thousands of emails that came from the Epstein estate. We know the Department of Justice has a whole bunch of information that they've not released. The Department of Justice is an executive branch agency. The question I have for you is if you want to clear your name, and we know that there's more information in those files that have been investigated, why is Trump stopping that information from going public?
How is he stopping that information from going public?
Has the information come public yet?
There's been like
Bonesaw
thousands
has the
of
information gone
emails.
public? No, that's from the oversight committee. No,
some of it, yes.
No.
Literally, the emails that you guys have said just came
That did
out
not
were
come from the
released
department.
years and years ago.
That did not come from the Department of Justice, Bonesaw. That came from the Oversight Committee and the Epstein estate. The Department of Justice is in possession of over 100,000 documents. Less than 5% have been released, according to them. I'm asking you again, why has he not told his Department of Justice to release it?
He just did.
He did not.
He did.
He did not. He did not. He did not, Bonesaw. He did not. He
As
told
of yesterday,
Republicans.
I believe he had stated that he's wanting everything to be released.
No, he said to the Republicans in the House to vote for it. And then he said, as long as it can be legally released, everything that is in the possession of the Department of Justice right now can be legally released. So then if you want irrefutable evidence, so Bonesaw, if I accused you of some of the things that have been alleged that Donald Trump had done, and you could clear your name, would you not do everything possible to clear your name?
Yes, but
why isn't Trump then? But why isn't Trump?
Because it's a sealed document.
It's not sealed.
Didn't you just
Bonesaw.
just say that's why
No.
Biden had not released it in the last 4 years was because it was sealed?
It wasn't sealed.
That's exactly what
still,
you had said.
Bonesaw, listen, bro, listen.
Literally,
You're not
that's
listening.
exactly what you had
Bonesaw,
said.
Bonesaw, listen. Not sealed. The case was still active. There was an investigation that happened. I'm sorry. The Maxwell's appeal was still happening. That's why the information could not be released, because there was still a trial. That doesn't exist now. This information is sitting with the Department of Justice. They have it. Again, I just asked you a question. I said, if you had information that would clear your name, you would want to release it, right?
Absolutely.
So Donald Trump has information that he claims he's not done anything wrong, that he is in possession of, his Department of Justice. Why would you not want to release it?
I honestly couldn't tell you.
Do you think maybe he doesn't want it to be released because there's some things in there that might incriminate him further?
Well, wouldn't he have been charged with that the first time they investigated him?
We're not talking about charges. We're not talking about charges. They're in possession of documentation. You see what you're doing, man? This is why you're in a cult, bro. You're just unwilling to look past your own bias.
It's funny.
True.
I do the
I'm
same
sorry.
exact thing you guys do. I say
What did I do?
If he's guilty, throw him in jail. Throw the book at him.
How do we get the evidence?
Literally,
for that?
that's what every Republican would say if there was irrefutable.
You're not saying that.
Beyond reasonable doubt evidence that supported it.
You're not saying that, though. But you're not saying that right now. You should be demanding
that.
No, you're trying to find excuses as to why Trump hasn't released everything yet. Why? Why are you making excuses for him? Why?
What was an excuse?
Why? You're saying, well, because it's under seal, because he's already been investigated. Those
I was just going on off the information you had provided. I was just using your words.
No, you were wrong about that, though. But you were wrong about that.
Oh, okay. Well, then I guess I take that back.
Let me ask you
then.
again. I'm going to ask you again. The Department of Justice, an executive branch agency, the President of the United States has authority over all executive branch agencies. He is the boss. He just directed his Attorney General to investigate Bill Clinton, Larry Summers, Reid Hoffman, and others connected to the Epstein files. If he can do that, he can also give his Attorney General directions to release everything. Why hasn't he?
I don't know. Maybe there's something they're not saying. How do you know for sure?
Maybe.
And that's pretty much my whole point.
Okay, but bro,
if it's an active investigation,
if that were true, it's not an act. It's not an active investigation. He wants it to be an active investigation so that he can use the excuse that I can't release this because it's an active investigation. Up until now, he lied to you all summer long, Bonesaw. He lied to you all summer long. And don't give me the whole all politicians lie. He lied to you all summer that it was a hoax, the birthday book that didn't exist, that it did, that it wasn't his signature, that he didn't have any contact with Epstein for 15 years. These emails refute that. Why are you so desperate to defend this guy? Why? We're talking about crimes against children here, man. Crimes against kids. Do you want to be part of history?
Well, then why
you supported this guy? Because you protect. That's part of what you do. You protect the names of survivors and innocent victims. That's why you do it.
And why did the victims why do you want
to be connected to this? They have. Do you believe women when do you believe women when they make a claim about abuse?
You're almost forced to, yes.
Oh, you're almost forced to, but you don't by and large?
Why? Again.
Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. There it is, friends. There it is. See? When you start to pull on the thread, you find out more about the person that you're talking to. You see what I mean? You're forced to. How about I believe women? You start there. So other MAGA voters, if you're in here, do you feel the same way? The desperation that people have to connect. Therapists are going to be busy for the next 20 years helping these people deconstruct. And you're right, Wendy. Only a fraction have come forward. My God, that is crazy. Holy shit. Soul Daddy, how are you today? Hello? Soul Daddy, are you there?
Oh,
Soul
yeah.
Daddy?
Sorry, I just jumped on accident.
Did you have a question? Soul Daddy, did you have a question? I guess not. Okay. Like what we just witnessed is indoctrination into the cult. That's where we are. We just witnessed it. Every opportunity to just answer a question. Every opportunity to just be like, yeah, we should have all the information. Nothing's irrefutable. Okay, I don't disagree. I mean, we have irrefutable evidence that he's all over the files. We have irrefutable evidence that he's lied. We have irrefutable evidence that the timeline that he's tried to paint doesn't exist. That's irrefutable. Now, what do you need? Like, what? Can I check your pupils, sir? My pupils are fine. Yeah. I don't even, it's wild. Hey, bro, how are you? Hey, thanks, by the way. You didn't have to step aside for me yesterday or whatever that was. I appreciate you doing that.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember that. No, when I see certain people, like, I like to go when RJ's on because I like to give him support. But when it's like you and Erica or RJ or all these people up there, you guys are going to contribute and convince people a lot more than I am. You're going to have better arguments. So I accept that and step aside.
Hey, bro. Appreciate you.
It's funny. You said something earlier that finally clicked with me that I don't know how I didn't see it before. I guess I kind of did. That, MAGA is a cult, obviously. And
yeah,
it's very similar to religion in that, like you mentioned earlier, the Epstein files. They believe the parts about Bill Clinton, but not the parts about Donald Trump. It's just like religion.
Correct.
They read the Bible and they believe the parts that homosexuality is a sin, but they'll explain away the parts that talks about how slavery can happen and how to treat your slave, how to handle children.
Or does it even really say that homosexuality is a sin? There's all kinds of contradiction. But I get your point. I get your point. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Right, but they'll eat bacon. You know, it says touching the skin of a dead pig is unclean. They're going to ignore that.
Correct.
You know, that's too difficult. And, you know, not wearing threads made, garments made from two different threads. Don't worry about that. Cropped side by side. We can forget that one.
Exactly.
Oh, but the part about man shall not lie to man. Oh, we got to fight for that.
Exactly. That's exactly right. I lost you, buddy.
The parts of the Epstein files. So anyway, just wanted to say that. I'll step down.
I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. Have a good day. Be safe out there.
Yep. Take care of it.
I you know, it's like, I don't, you know, I try to, I'm not afraid to talk to anybody, but I think those conversations are so necessary because you can see what's happening. Like you can see it in real time, right? Every opportunity that people who are Trump supporters will get to try to figure out a way to defend this shit, they will use it. They'll use it. I got blocked after a user. No, Bonesaw, you got blocked because you're a piece of shit. That's why you got blocked. Because you said you're forced to believe women. That's why you got blocked. There was 2,000 people in here when you said that. That's the reason you got blocked. Because you're forced to believe women. Because you don't believe women. And I set you up because I knew that was going to be your answer. That's why you got blocked. Not because of you using my own words. And even in your attempt to use my own words, you use them wrong. So, I mean, you're just wrong about all of it. You're just wrong about all of it. And it's just unfortunate that you're stuck in the cult so deeply that you can't just acknowledge that you want the information to come out. Just be an adult. Just be like, this looks bad. If you are such the champion for your guy and you're convinced that he's done nothing wrong, then even more so, like X-Ray Steve thinks Trump did nothing wrong. Then X-Ray Steve, you should be yelling louder than me to have all this information released. Why can't you do that? Why can't you do that? Once again, people on the left, we care more about your families than you do. We care more about the children around your house than you do because we don't want them exposed to this kinds of toxic bullshit. We don't. You have a son and a daughter. You're forced to believe your daughter, but you just believe your son? Your son gets accused by his girlfriend or a friend of sexual assault, and you're forced to believe her, but you'll just default to believing him? Right? Do you guys ever think about that? Ever? So if you want the truth, you're welcome, Liz. If you want the truth, we want the truth too. Just fucking stop obstructing justice. It's just that simple. Okay. Just for a bit of a comedy reset, in case you guys did not know, over the weekend, as the president was on his way to Florida, he was asked about his MRI. So I don't know if there's any neurologists in here or physicians in general, but I'll just play this for you, and then we can all share in the joy together.
Because it's part of my physical.
He was asked about the MRI, and this was his answer.
Because it's part of my physical. Getting an MRI is very standard. Well, you think I shouldn't have it? Other people got it. I had an MRI. Here's what the story is. I had an MRI. The doctor said it was the best result he has ever seen as a doctor. That's it. But I had an MRI as part of my standard yearly, or I think they do it every 2 years, but I have the physical every year, and the result was outstanding. Was it your brain? Did you know? I have no idea what they analyzed.
I had no idea what they analyzed, but it was perfect.
But whatever they analyzed it well, and they said that I had as good a result as they've ever seen.
So I wanted to play that because it speaks to now the conversation we were just having with with dull ass Bonesaw. I've had numerous physicals in my life. Try to have one every single year. I'll take this as an opportunity to remind men that it is November. Please be mindful of your mental health and your physical health. Please don't be an alpha. Go to the doctor. Go annually. Have your twigs and berries checked. It's not so bad. Have your colonoscopy. have your prostate exam, do all the shit. Don't ignore your health, okay? So I say that to you because MRIs are not part of a routine physical. I've never had one. Actually, I had one time because I had serious kidney stones. So you don't have one. You don't have an MRI as part of your daily physical, your annual physicals. You just don't. Okay? You just don't. So he's lying to you again, MAGA. When are you ever, see, that soundbite's probably not going to get played in your safe spaces. Yeah, I had serious kidney issues. It turned into something else that I've been living with for years, but that's a different story. Anyway, why would you accept that? Why would you allow yourself to accept that as the truth? And then you're going to say, oh, it's just Trump being Trump. No, he's fucking lying to you. He's trying to give you, the reason that those MRIs were ordered is because the dude's in failing health. It was his brain. I don't know what part they analyzed, but whatever they analyzed, it was perfect. Can you guys not see through this? And they can call it a gaslight, I guess, whatever. You only get an MRI ordered if there's something wrong. Are there any physicians anywhere or neurosurgeons or neuroscientists that want to come up and confirm that? But I looked into it. It's just wild. Why would you believe that shit? Just nonsense. Like crazy. Yeah, you don't get an MRI for funsies. Universal health care, you wouldn't have to pay for it. Pete, how are you today?
I'm doing great, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. What's on your mind?
What are you talking about today? The Epstein files, I see.
Well, you requested, so I'm curious as to why you requested.
Oh yeah. Well, you're looking for opposition, correct? To talk about Donald Trump because it's your whole persona. Donald Trump.
No, that's certainly not my persona.
It is. Every day you cry about Donald Trump. What are you talking about? It's okay.
Oh, I don't cry. I don't cry at all, Pete. I don't cry at all. I try to
metaphorically. You cry about Trump every day.
No, not even metaphorically. I don't.
Oh, stop lying to yourself. Come on now,
Pete. Do you have a point that you'd like to make? Because do you want to argue, or do you want to be educated?
I like that he's. Well, you're not going to do any educating to me. I guarantee you that. I like that he's wanting to release the files. How many amendments? Now. You like that?
How many amendments to the Constitution are there, Pete?
You think I don't know? 27.
Good for you. You're one of the few that knows, so good for you.
Yeah. So ask me another stupid ass question. Go on.
Do you want to be an asshole, or do you want to have a conversation?
I mean, you're kind of being an asshole host. What do you want to talk about? I mean, you're up here already talking about it.
You requested, Pete. You requested.
Yeah, and you accepted.
The question so do you believe that Trump's been lying to you?
Is this your first day hosting a live? Is this your first day hosting a live?
No, Pete, it's not. Do you accept the fact that Trump's been lying to you all summer?
No, he hadn't been lying. What's he been lying about, man? Come on, tell me.
The hoax. He's been calling it a hoax every single day.
Well, yeah, it is a hoax as far as y'all take that out of. Well, let me tell you, y'all take that out of context. Yeah. So what he's saying when he says hoax, well, just listen. I know you're first day hosting and all. You got to listen to people.
Okay.
So when he's saying that it's a hoax, what he's saying is that them's acting as if
I'm gonna write this down.
He has something to do with it. He has not been diddling children. That's the hoax, is that they keep acting as if he was diddling children.
How do you know?
Because the victims already said so.
No, that's not true at all, Pete.
That is true.
No.
What are you talking about? Virginia Guthrie yourself. Virginia Guthrie
one
herself
person.
Said.
Pete, that's one.
Also,
Pete, that's
other
one
victims,
person.
Other victims that talk, there are
1,000. There are 1,000. There are 1,000 survivors potentially, Pete. 1,000. Okay, 1,000 of them. Many of them are still
come forward and gone face to face to try.
Do you believe women? Do you believe women, Pete?
Not always. No, they lie. Like
That's why. Get the fuck out of here. Thank you once again. That's number 2. That's number 2. You see what I mean? You see what I mean? This is what we're dealing with. This is what happens. It's a simple question.
It's the reason that women don't come forward. I'm not going to speak for women. As it's been told to me, it's one of the many reasons why women don't come forward. Because people like Pete exist. Unreal. It's unbelievable that this stuff continues to happen. It's unbelievable. Yeah, Pete thinks he's an alpha. Yep. Dreamer, how are you today? Hi, Dreamer. Dreamer, are you there? Dreamer. I guess not. Okay. Like, it's a simple argument. They don't want to accept the fact that their guy has been implicated. They just don't care. They're going to hold on to one selectively pieced together email of Virginia Giuffre. We've got thousands of other survivors. Her names are listed in the documents the Department of Justice under Trump's direction is keeping close. And Trump did not tell the DOJ to release. He told Congress to vote. If Congress votes in support of releasing it, and then the language specifically, just let me go through this again. I want to make sure I get it exactly right. As I said on Friday night aboard Air Force One, the fake news media, House Republicans should vote to release the Epstein files because we have nothing to hide. And it's time to move on from this Democratic hoax. What is the hoax? What's the hoax? Yes, say her name, Katie Johnson. Exactly, say her name. Perpetrated by the radical left lunatics in order to deflect from the great success of the Republican Party, including our recent victory on the Democrat shutdown. The Department of Justice has already turned over tens of thousands of pages to the public on Epstein, which is not true, are looking at various Democrat operatives, Bill Clinton, Reid Hoffman, Larry Summers. So why are we investigating them, Pete, and not investigating the guy whose name appears in the emails more than anybody else? Pete. This is how pitiful you guys are. You're connected, you're connecting your name to crimes against kids. Trump wanted the files to come out. He could do it right now. There could be he could put it in a tweet, he could send a note, he could make a phone call, they could come out right now. Wouldn't even need Congress. Good morning, my dear. How are you?
Hello, Steve. How are you?
I'm okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to let the chat know, in case they hadn't heard, and they probably have, that contained in a lot of these email releases is Jeffrey Epstein talking in detail about how much Trump bragged about what he did to E. Jean Carroll.
Heard that.
And E. Jean Carroll was not aware that, obviously that existed until this came out. Not surprising to her, of course, but upsetting. And I just think, it's amazing that everybody likes to invoke the name of E. Jean Carroll as the example of a liar, even though a jury agreed with what happened to her. But they believe Virginia Giuffre when she says that Trump didn't do anything to her.
Correct.
That's a double standard. And I believe both of them. I believed Virginia Giuffre when she says Trump didn't do anything to her. Correct. And I believe Katie Johnson when she says that he did.
Correct. Same here.
I'm sure
Gloria
that
Farmer, Stacey Williams, and others.
Right. I'm sure that out of the thousands of victims, Donald Trump didn't have the opportunity to get his hands on all of them.
Correct.
So there are some he did and some he didn't.
Correct.
These people are going to super hell.
I don't even know what you call it. I prefer purgatory.
Seriously.
Because then they're getting stretched.
The sad thing to me is that having 100% concrete knowledge that E. Jean Carroll is telling the truth, because I know her, is very difficult. There's nothing I could ever say to prove that to people who believe these things. But it's very hard to listen to when I know that they are arbitrarily, without any kind of knowledge or evidence, just deciding because they want to that he didn't do this. And
exactly.
I just think it's amazing to me that we can't get to a place where even when we present evidence in front of a jury, we don't believe people. And a track record like he has with as many accusations as he has in the things that he said isn't enough for people to even like go, yeah, that's sus. Like they're fully, like I was listening to the lives that you were in this weekend, Steve. These people just, there's no part of them that thinks it's even possible. How do they know that? They're going to fucking super hell. Okay?
Correct.
Especially these women.
They're not, I was just going to say that, especially the women that were on those lives. It was just horrible. Like horrible. I shouldn't be surprised.
I'm going to have to start carrying around barf bags. I can't. Like,
I know.
Anyway. Yeah, they're going to super hell. And I'm not there. Okay?
Preach. I'm with you. I love you, friend. You know that.
Love you too. Bye.
Talk to you later. All right, bye. Yeah, there's more evidence that came out from some of these emails talking about Trump bragging about the things that he did to Eugene, right? We just witnessed it. We witnessed it this morning. People that just don't give a fuck about their neighbors, and people like fucking that piece of shit that was just up here now. He thinks it's a flex. I don't fucking believe women. Why the fuck should I? Trump's fine. I mean, how do you fight through that? You fight through it by having these conversations. You fight through it by exposing them. I don't like to carry that trash. That's why when I ask questions and they answer like I know how they're going to, conversation's over for me. I have no interest. I have no interest. We don't need them for anything. It's just really, really important that the knots and the pretzels that they twist themselves into, what do they think they're on the side of? What is it? Like what do they think they're on the side of? Who are you protecting? Who are you protecting? Like why? If you are, again, I'll ask this question. Thank you, Gregory. I'll ask this question. If you are convicted of a crime, or I'm not going to say, if you are alleged to have done something, especially something like this, would you not do everything in your power to clear your name? Of course you would. Of course you would. Of course. Why not? And I think what I said earlier is true, right? You don't believe your daughter, but you do believe your son. Because when I asked you the question, do you believe women? Well, if I'm forced to, so would you be forced to believe your daughter? And would you ask her, what were you wearing? Would you ask her, did you lead her on? Would you ask the same questions to your son? Would you say, did she lead you on? She must have been wearing something, sexy. Do you see? Do you see the fucking contradiction? Do you see how pitiful it is? Do you see? And this is when I say, I absolutely participated in locker room talk when I was younger. No doubt about it. Absolutely no doubt about it. You're right, Sam. Or she looked older. Exactly. She looked older. I absolutely participated in locker room talk when I was younger. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. And I feel awful about it. No doubt. It's part of the evolution that we're all trying to make. This book that I've been working on for a long time. I've changed the title numerous times, but it's about being a better man. And this is the kind of stuff that we have to fight through every fucking day. People just don't give a shit. Men and women are going to choose just to not believe women. We're in this situation now because women are just not believed. Period. We wouldn't be dealing with these conversations. We wouldn't have to go through this exercise. If that was the default, not forced to. So for the despicable men that have been up here so far this morning. If your daughter, first of all, your daughter would never come to you if something happened because she knows you wouldn't believe her. In case she did, she tells you that she was assaulted. Are you forced to believe her, or are you going to believe her? It's just mind-boggling to me that the desperation that weak-ass, mediocre at best men go through to try to support their own whatever. Good morning, my friend. How are you?
I'm well, Steve. How are you?
I'm okay.
So, I wanted to talk about something that I heard you and Uncle Rusty talking about. So, Uncle Rusty made the joke about Halle Berry saying that, you know, that she was a book, and it was just a little inappropriate, right? I don't know how to say it. I'm sorry. I'm nervous because I feel like I'm calling.
You don't have to apologize.
Okay.
You don't have to apologize.
Right.
That's fair. I think we have to know the audience, and I'll mention that to Rusty. I think that's fair, and I probably reacted in a way that I shouldn't have. I think that's fair.
Yeah, and I just especially like, and I know hearing all this stuff with the Epstein files is so. Everything, like that joke that Uncle Rusty made, he said, like, basically, you know, she's just something, she doesn't have any value anymore. Imagine, this is what these people are saying about these children at the time. They were children.
I think that's fair. I think that's fair. I think that's fair feedback. Yep.
I'm so sorry, and this is no hate to Uncle Rusty.
For what?
Okay.
Don't apologize. It's this. We're trying to be better. Don't apologize. It's a blind spot. I completely agree. In hindsight, now probably shouldn't have gone that way, and that's just unacceptable. Rusty needs to own it, and he'll apologize for it. He will.
Okay.
But you don't need to apologize.
Okay. All right. I love you. I love you so much, and I just would never. Okay. I'm gonna stop talking now.
Well, but let me say this to you. I don't sit in this space every day with you know, I want people to criticize. If I say something or do something you don't like, I'm not going to get defensive, right? I want people to if I've done something wrong or if I've stepped in a spot that I shouldn't have, I can take it. We're all trying to be better. We're all trying to be better people, right? That's what we're trying to do. That's what we're trying to do. And if it takes some self-reflection, absolutely. You know, that's part of my goal in trying to remind people to be, especially men in particular, to be better men. You got to know the room. You got to read the room. You got to understand. You can't participate in locker room talk. So it's all good. You don't need to apologize. You don't need to apologize. But I got you.
I know. I just feel weird because whenever I come up, I always look at the number of people and then I panic and I forget everything. I even like kind of practice it in my head. Like, how am I going to say this? And then I come up and I'm like, and I can never say it good. Because then I like wrote it in the Discord, but then I was like, no, I need to say this on the live because we're talking about this super important things that are happening. And so I feel like it needs to be said for anyone who could potentially be feeling the way that I was feeling. And so it's mostly I'm apologizing for my bad being on a live.
Do me a solid. Stop apologizing. You have every right to say what was on your mind. Okay?
Okay, I appreciate you. Okay, have a wonderful day.
Do the same. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Again, you know, in hindsight, I probably shouldn't have done that, right? I get it. I can own that. If I made a mistake trying to be better, absolutely. I own it. We're all trying to be better. We're all trying to do things differently. That's the goal, okay? That's the goal, right? So I don't want, again, friends, this space means a lot to all of us. And I don't want to be considered some, you know, I don't stand on a particular moral high ground that other than my own. And I've got blind spots. We all do. We're just trying to be better, right? We're just trying to be better. We have to hold each other accountable. That's the goal. So if I've done something to offend anyone, then just tell me. I have no problem taking feedback, none whatsoever. So I don't think nobody should feel like they should have to apologize. Okay, we have to just do better. That's it. We just have to do better. Be aware of it. Be accountable for it. Own it. Do better. Move on. Okay, that's the goal. All right, I see Judy here, and then we'll get back into some of the stuff that we're talking about.
No. That was a mistake.
Hello, Judy.
Sorry, that was a mistake.
That's okay. No problem. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you. All right. Yeah, exactly. 1% better every day. All of us. 1% better every day. You're right. Moral decency. Jared, how are you today?
I'm doing okay. Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay. I'm doing okay. I just wanted to say just a couple of things on this. Number one, two things can be true at the same time. And people have this idea that just because they voted for a person that they have to agree with every single thing that person spews. It's kind of idiotic to even think like that. It's like you're not thinking for yourself. But what you just did with the young lady is exactly what the kind of practice if Republicans and everybody else that believe in Trump as far as these Epstein files and things, you made a great example. Taking accountability is what they lack. It's the lack of accountability, the lack of taking accountability for the fact that you voted for a person who is contrary to the things you thought you believed in. You voted for a person who consistently lies, and
We lost you, man. Jared, lost you. Yeah, Jared, we lost you, brother. You can come back up if you want to. We got a phone call. Can you guys still hear me? It was weird. Got a strange. Can you still hear me? Just yes. Can you still hear me, friends? He did cut out. Can you guys still hear me? You can't hear me? Can you hear me? Is the question. Yes? Yes? Okay. Yeah, I mean, listen, it's just, I would be the ultimate hypocrite if I told others that they're not taking accountability for themselves. If I didn't take it myself, right? That's what this is about. That's what this is about. And you know, for whatever reason, point is we're all trying to be better, right? We're just trying to be better 1% every single day. That's all of us, right? We talk about the whole do something mindset. This book that I'm writing is about being a better man and using things from our past and hopefully allowing them to kind of influence the changes we want to make in our lives, whether it be not acknowledging our own mental health issues, whether it be not acknowledging our blind spots, you know, our internalized racism, our internalized misogyny, all those kinds of things. These things are real. We can't be afraid to talk about them. Right? We can't be afraid to talk about them. You know, we should be able to expect ourselves to be weak and to be vulnerable. And I want people to feel like they can have a space to talk, and whether it's here or someplace else. Jared, you can request again, friend. It's no problem. It's just I'm not sure what happened there, but okay. He can just request. I don't see him in the request box. It just might be an issue there. Anyway. As we were just discussing, right, and I think it's necessary to I want to make sure that we're still discussing this because the lengths to which the Christian moral right is going now, I don't see him anywhere. If he wants to come back up, he can just request. The lengths to which they're going to try to minimize what's happened, right? He's coming up. There we go. Thanks, Sam. Hey, Jared, I'm not sure what happened, but we couldn't hear you. Hi there.
Yeah, I cut out. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened, to be honest.
No problem.
But I'll make it short and sweet, though. This administration and the followers itself, They thrive off the lack of accountability. If they don't have to take responsibility for anything and they could pretend like certain things aren't true, then in their mind it makes them superheroes or right for whatever reason. So that's why they can come on here and spew insults, and to them they're achieving something, but they're not. The insults aren't making you right. It just makes you look like you don't know what you're talking about.
Very true.
It doesn't make sense that you can have all these facts in front of your face and you decide to to pretend as if they don't exist. But when it's something that benefits you, then it exists. That's the lack of accountability. That's why I said what you did with the young lady was a great example of how you can convince people. If Trump was a good guy, he would take accountability for his part in certain things that's happening in the nation right now. But he doesn't. He doesn't.
Of course not.
He takes no responsibility. No. You know what I mean? And people who voted for him and people in his cabinet, they follow his exact lead. Exactly. Almost verbatim sometimes. Like, if he says it, then they'll walk around and they'll say it, everything he said, regurgitated verbatim. And it's disgusting.
Correct.
It's disgusting.
Correct. That's cult behavior.
Without facts.
You're right. That's cult behavior.
It is. Absolutely.
It is.
But that's all I wanted to say. I just wanted to, like, at least kind of get some people who aren't understanding what's going on, because it's kind of hard for me to believe that there aren't people who can't see it for their own self, but there are. And I figured maybe saying it like this will maybe open somebody else's eyes, because, man, it's dangerous to have a man like that in office. It's very dangerous.
Totally agree. Thanks for jumping in, Jared. Thanks for coming back. I appreciate it. Have a good day. Be safe out there. You got it. Take care. Thanks. He's right. We are crowdfunded here, friends. If you want to support the channel, you can do so at Factsstillmatter on Cash App, PayPal, Venmo. Maybe we can bang out that live goal today. That'd be awesome. Thank you all, friends. He brings up a good point. It's like a bigger picture conversation, though, right? I mean, I think Warner said this comment in the chat that Trump said he's never done anything wrong as a president. It's like a perfect presidency. We can use what happened over the weekend with removing the tariffs on certain items. That's an acknowledgement that your tariffs caused the prices to go up. That's what that is, right? That's that acknowledgement. We'll get into that in just a minute. I just want to close the loop on these things. These are difficult. This may be a bit triggering because it involves Megyn Kelly. And I want to talk about a couple of things that she said in recent days as to what they are trying to do desperately. So you may remember this sound, which was just absolutely just despicable, and it shouldn't surprise anybody because of how she said it and the way she said it and the context that she's trying to frame it. Okay, so this was horrible. So trigger warnings in advance.
I've said this before, but just as a reminder, I do know somebody very, very close to this case who is in a position to know virtually everything. Not everything, but virtually everything. And this person has told me from the start, years and years ago, that Jeffrey Epstein, in this person's view, was not a pedophile. This is this person's view, who was there for a lot of this, but that he was into the barely legal type. Like, he liked 15-year-old girls.
First of all, to be clear, 15 would be barely illegal. You're not barely legal at 15. You're a fucking child.
And I realize this is disgusting. I'm definitely not trying to make an excuse for this. I'm just giving you facts. That he wasn't into, like, 8-year-olds, but he liked the very young teen types that could pass for even younger than they were, but would look legal to a passerby. And that is what I believed, and that was what I reliably was told for many years. And it wasn't until we heard from Pam Bondi that they had tens of thousands of videos of alleged, forgive me, they used to call it kiddie porn, now they call it child sexual abuse material, on his computer, that for the first time I thought, oh, no, he was an actual pedophile. I mean, only a pedophile gets off on young children abuse videos. She's never clarified it. I don't know whether it's true. I have to be honest. I don't really trust Pam Bondi's word on the Epstein matter anymore.
And then the laughing. The laughing. She wasn't done. And I want you to hear this. And again, the argument, the only thing I can come up with is they were trying to say, well, you know, they're 15, but they're women. Okay. This was her latest. This was just a couple days ago.
Jeffrey Epstein. convicted felon, pervert, abuser of women, and yes, at one point, a long time ago, friend of Donald Trump.
Abuser of women. No. Nope. Nope.
Epstein also met with people like Katie Couric, George Stephanopoulos, the Dalai Lama, reportedly, many, many others who are not guilty of crimes just because they spent some time with the criminal Epstein.
That's a stretch there too. It's all part of the game. So just to end the beginning, I want you to hear this again, okay? Because this is important because of the context.
Jeffrey Epstein, convicted felon, pervert, abuser of women, and yet
not women. Girls. Children, not women. Girls. Okay? Children, okay?
Yes, at one point, a long time ago, friend of Donald Trump. Epstein also met with people like Katie Couric, George Stephanopoulos, the Dalai Lama, reportedly, many, many others who are not guilty of crimes just because they spent some time with the criminal Epstein.
That's the minimization. Well, I mean, he hung out with these people. They're not guilty. This is how far they are willing to go. Megyn Kelly has a 14-year-old daughter. A 14-year-old daughter. And she said, well, barely, again, 15 is a child. They're children. The Republican Party, the conservative movement, the Bible thumpers, the moral right. Has anybody ever seen a Democrat introduce legislation to lower the age of consent? Anybody? I'll wait. Robert Morris name ring a bell? MAGA? Robert Morris was Donald Trump's spiritual advisor who's going to jail for abusing a 12-year-old girl. Did you know that? I don't understand. Mark French, you're wrong. I can prove it. Why? To what end? What are you protecting? You want to sit in your pews on Sunday and say you're there because you're concerned about men and women's bathrooms? And yet, the person that you admire and revere and have merch in his name and flags around your house is connected to the largest predatory sex trafficking and abuse ring maybe in our world history, and you're doing everything possible to make excuses and justifications. It's fucking pitiful. So I'd like to address the whole issue over the weekend that happened last week, that the Republicans tried to say that the Democrats are to blame for this. So there was during the couple of days that the House was back in session, Tim Burchett introduced what's referred to as unanimous consent. He was asking for unanimous consent to move the Epstein files, the discharge petition, out of the House into the Senate. Unanimous consent is not a roll call vote. So the Republicans now are saying Democrats blocked it. No. The person who was chairing the House at that particular time was Representative Womack, a Republican from Arkansas. Tim Burchett did not introduce the unanimous consent request under House rules. A Republican said, dude, so Mark French, you're wrong, my guy. You're wrong. I'm explaining it to you right now. I'm explaining it to you. You don't know this because you don't get your news other than the fucking mainline Newsmax bullshit. That's the rule. That's how it works. Mods, can you guys do me a solid? There's a sound bite of Tim Burchett on the House floor. 15-year-old daughter. Thank you, Jess. 15-year-old daughter. There's a sound bite of Tim Burchett on the floor of the House making the unanimous request. And I'd like to, the consent request, and I'd just like to play the sound to back it up. So Mark French, you're wrong again. Why don't you guys just bother to try to find the truth? You probably didn't know that. You probably didn't know that a Republican was chairing the House at the time, was the active speaker.
because that's how it works. The Republican, Rep. Womack, said, no, Mr. Burchett, you can't file that under those conditions. You're violating the rules, by the way, the rules that we established, because we are the majority of the, we're the majority. We're the majority party. We're the ones that set the rules. Unanimous consent is not a roll call vote. What's going to happen tomorrow is a roll call vote. Every single member of the House of Representatives will vote to say, do we want all the information the DOJ has in their possession to expose everyone, or are we going to protect a predators? Okay. So that's the truth. That's the truth, MAGA, in the chat. That is the truth. There's another one, Sam. That's just one, but there's the whole statement. Well, I'll play this first. He's actually on the floor of the House. I think Tim's looking for it. So let's get the history here of what he had said. This is Tim Burchett's claim.
Hey everybody, Tim Burchett just left the House floor, and I tried to do a UC unanimous consent of tried to get the Epstein files, get it straight to the floor, just to cut out all this nonsense, and and the Democrats blocked it, oddly enough. Now I hear they've had it for 4 years, and they obviously if there's something there about Trump, they would have released it, and now they're all, let's get it out, let's get it out. Well, I just made a motion to bring it straight to the dadgum floor, and they blocked it.
No, you made a motion to bring it to the dadgum floor under unanimous consent. Okay?
They blocked it. So this is politics. It has nothing to do with what's doing what's right. I mean, it's Washington, D.C. to a T. And again, they ought to be ashamed of themselves, but they're probably not. Thank y'all for sending me here.
Okay, so, and by the way, Mike Johnson doubled down and said the same thing. Okay? So for those MAGA in the chat, this is the lie that you've been told. So Tim Burchett leaves the House floor and says, oh, bring that dadgum up, whatever. So let's go to the tape. Thank you, mods. Hearts in the chat for my mods because they're the best in the fucking business. So this is what happened. Okay? This is what happened. We'll go through it right now. Let's put this in the rearview mirror.
Rise.
Okay, hold on. So this is the gentleman from Tennessee rises. This is November the 12th. This is last week. The House is being chaired. The speaker, the acting speaker at this moment is Representative Womack from Arkansas. He's a Republican. Okay? Pay attention, MAGA. Pay attention.
Someone from Tennessee rise.
Mr. Speaker, I ask unanimous consent that the Committee on the Judiciary be discharged from further consideration of H.R. 4405 and ask for its immediate consideration in the House.
Under guidelines consistently issued by successive speakers, as recorded in Section 956 of the House Rules and Manual, the chair is constrained not to entertain the request unless it has been cleared by the bipartisan floor and committee leaderships.
Busted. Can you all shut up with that fucking nonsense now? So you don't get this kind of information from your little safe spaces. It's a Republican speaker, acting speaker, Rep. Womack from Arkansas. Okay? It's a Republican who denied the request. Unanimous consent is not a roll call vote. Tomorrow is the roll call vote. There's even more, I think. I think there's even another piece. Actually, let me just see. There's actually another part to that. When Tim Burchett said, hey, can you tell us if the Democrats obstructed this? And he's like, it's irrelevant. It's not even going to get to the vote. Nobody obstructed it, and it's outside the parameters. I know, he went back up there and they denied it again. It's the same deal. So, MAGA, can you guys stop your fucking chirping? Stop. Just stop your chirping. You're just embarrassing yourself backwards and forward. There's another piece of that sound. I promise I'll have it for you tomorrow. It's just crazy. Wait a minute, is this it? No, that's not it. Nope. Again, here's the sound again for those of you who still don't want to believe it. It's a Republican chairing the committee.
Rise.
Mr. Speaker, I ask unanimous consent that the Committee on the Judiciary be discharged from further consideration of H.R. 4405 and ask for its immediate consideration in the House.
Under guidelines consistently issued by successive speakers, As recorded in Section 956 of the House Rules and Manual, the chair is constrained not to entertain the request unless it has been cleared by the bipartisan floor and committee leaderships.
So again, I think we have sufficiently dunked on it. So stop with your bullshit. Stop. Just stop. Y'all are dumb. Go sit in the corner, put your pacifier in your mouth, shut the fuck up, and try to learn something. All you want to do is deflect the light. Don't look over here. Don't look over here. We don't want to be connected to the fact that we know our guy is in the files and he's all over it. You don't believe women. You don't believe the facts. You don't believe women. You don't believe women. You don't believe the truth. You don't believe the facts. You don't believe science. You don't believe women. You don't believe the colleges and universities. You don't believe the education system. You don't believe the courts. You don't believe court records. You don't believe women. You don't believe the plight of the marginalized communities that are under threat. You don't believe innocent people being arrested by ICE. You only fucking believe what Trump tells you. That is a cult. You don't believe juries? Exactly. You believe some things from a document because it says Bill Clinton, but you don't believe the other things because it says Donald Trump. You think everything is a witch hunt? You think everything is fake news? Make up your damn minds. Just make up your minds. You either believe things or you don't. You'll never believe women. Let's call it what it is. Oh my God. We've got about 8 inches of snow and it's still snowing. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Sorry, couldn't resist. Okay. Let's now go to something else that I wanted to share with you guys. More of the economic news. Let's start here. We have to continue to cover this because there's just more lies. We don't get snow days up here. There may be a fucking blizzard conditions and we'll still go to school. I mean, it's just how it has to get really, really bad. The problem that we're having is this tech rehearsal is tonight and it's supposed to get really bad later. And if they cancel after school activities, including like varsity sports, they have to cancel that too. And if we miss tonight, well, let's just say we'll punt. All right, so here's the president arriving back from his trip to Mar-a-Lago.
We had a great weekend. From an economic standpoint, our prices are coming down very substantially on groceries and things. They're already at a much lower level than they were with the last administration. And we worked on it this weekend, and you're going to see some of the items that were a little bit higher. They were lower than the last administration, but a little bit higher. We're going to have some little price reductions, and in some cases, some pretty good ones. They use the affordability word. The affordability is much, much better with this. And again, I go to Walmart and other companies, and in every case, it's about 25%. That a meal, a Thanksgiving meal and surroundings are 25% lower than it was under the Biden administration. That's a big fact, and that comes from Walmart and others that do that. Okay? Any questions?
Any update on Venezuela, Mr. President? On Venezuela, update?
No update on Venezuela.
The designation of that cartel associated.
For those of you that have been following along at home, the claim about the Thanksgiving bundle from Walmart, you guys know the story, right? The claim that it's 25% cheaper. Well, it's got 10 less items in it, I think. And 60% of the items in this year's are their generic brand, the Great Value brand, as opposed to what was in it last year. Yet he's still going out and telling the story. Like he's still telling people it's cheaper. It's not. It's not. Yeah, he said surroundings, exactly. It's not cheaper. It's just not. Okay? I don't know if you guys know that, but it's just true. Okay? It's not 25% cheaper. There's less in it. So, Baby Cakes, how are you this morning? Hello, Baby Cakes Cupcakery? Are you there? Baby Cakes? I feel weird saying that. Okay. I guess not. Thank you, though. I appreciate it.
So let's continue on this economic road, because now you're so desperate that you send all of your minions out to try to defend your horrible economic policies. So Kevin Hassett has been the one that's been in the center of most of this. He's the economic advisor. Okay, he's the Progressive in Your Pocket. I'll use this opportunity to remind folks, brand new shirt in the merch store, Progressive in Your Pocket. Go check it out. You can find the merch store at Facts HQ in the link tree in my bio, or go directly there at factsstillmatter.site. Lots of really, really cool merch in the merch store. And by the way, the new one, the Progressive in Your Pocket t-shirt, all proceeds from the sale of that shirt, for as long as it's in the merch store, will go to a cause. I forget the URL. Maybe Sam, if you wouldn't mind posting it in the chat, you'll see the information listed on the item itself. It goes to support Black women, moms in particular. So go check it out. It goes to a great cause. Again, all the proceeds from the sale of that shirt on the profit side go to this cause. So go check it out. Pick up one. So John Carl, one of the better interviewers that are out there, is questioning Kevin Hassett, and I just want you to listen to this bullshit. Okay, this is what happens when you are just wrong about everything, and you got to try to spin your way out of it.
Again, so the tariffs have been removed from these items that many of us buy at the grocery store. How soon do we expect the prices on those goods now to go down?
Right. Well, the prices for those goods weren't necessarily going up just because of tariffs. Okay,
that's the first part. Yet every economist globally points to these particular items as having a direct result of the tariffs. So Kevin Hassett's going to say, well, these weren't because of the tariff.
So the prices will go down. Well, the prices will go down, of course, but
because the tariffs have been taken off.
Right. Well, and because the supply of the goods into the U.S. is going to increase.
What?
But I mean, to state the obvious, I mean, tariffs do raise prices on Americans, despite what the president has said over and over again.
It depends on, so if you look at it, how much has inflation gone up because of tariffs? Everybody was saying we're going to have stagflation because of the tariffs, but in fact, year over year, inflation is down.
Let's fact check that, shall we? Because I went and looked. The inflation rate at the end of the Biden presidency, at the end of December, the end of the year, was 2.9%. It sits at 3.01% as it sits right now. So last time I checked, 2.9 is less than 3. And we're not going to get the data from October because apparently they're so bad, the Republicans want to blame Democrats for breaking the system. So again, conservatives, MAGA, this guy just told you that the inflation rate, this is my new game, by the way, and I've tested it 3 times, and all 3 times it's worked. I'll get to that in a second. The inflation rate at the end of December was 2.9%. The end of December last year. That's according to this is the inflation calculator. The Bureau of Labor Statistics, they track it. It is currently 3.01%. So inflation is up. I've asked this question in a couple of lives this weekend. I shit you not. This is real time. This happened. I said, okay, if the inflation rate is 3.01% this month, and the inflation rate next month goes to 2.5%, what happens to prices? Every person I asked said prices go down. Education is an issue. So back to Kevin Hassett.
The latest inflation report shows that it's 2.5%, and that's very close to the Fed's target, and that happened.
It's not 2.5%, so we're close to that.
With tariffs coming. The reason that happens is that for most products, if you think about the stuff we get from China, China sells the products into the U.S. almost as much as they can to create jobs in China. And that means that they have to lower their costs when we put a tariff on. And that's why inflation didn't happen. And GDP growth is about 4% with the tariffs. And so we didn't get stagflation because the inelastic suppliers have been lowering their prices. But there's some things that aren't inelastically supplied, like coffee.
What, dude? Really? That's gaslighting. Ironically enough, the items that were addressed in the executive order over the weekend were some of the items that were getting called out as having the biggest increase in cost due to the tariffs, beef, coffee, tropical fruits, etc. How convenient that they just remove the high tariff on those particular items. Here's the problem, capitalists. Do you think your prices are going to come down on those items? Because they've now set the market. They're so fucking stupid. So dumb. Scott Besson is also out trying to do the rounds to try to defend this argument, which is crazy to me that this is how far they will go. This is how far they will go. Do I have that sound? Hang on. I think I have it. Well, this is, I'll get to that one in a second. Where is it? Maybe I don't have it. Hang on a second. Everybody keep tapping. We're going to go till noon. Keep in mind that our first banned book club meets directly after this in our Discord. It's in the in our Discord. You'll find the banned book club channel. Head on over there, okay? Let me find this. This is funny because of the scrambling that they're trying to navigate their way through. It's just ridiculous. Where is Scott Bassett? Here we go. This is nonsense. This is on Fox News, and they think the people over there will just accept this as the truth. This is what we talk about every day. This is how bad it is. Okay. Here you go. This is Scott Bassett and I with Maria Bartiromo.
You just heard he's expecting $10 meat.
Well, Maria, the beef market is a very specialized market. It goes in.
You're not going to believe his reason why beef prices are up. Check this out.
Long cycles, and this is the perfect storm. Again, something we inherited, and there's also, because of the mass immigration, a disease that we've been rid of in North America made its way up through South America. As these migrants, they brought some of their cattle with them. So
now, the reason that beef prices are so high is because undocumented immigrants are now bringing their beef across the border. They think you're stupid.
Part of the problem is we've had to shut the border to Mexican beef because of this disease called the screwworm. So we're not going to let that get into our supply chain. And again, I don't want to focus on one product. It's a very important product, and we are laser focused on this issue. And
I'm sorry, I interrupted. I'll play that again. I'll take a brief break. I'll be right back.
But what is your take on what you just heard? Meat.
Well, Maria, the beef market is a very specialized market. It goes in, and this is the perfect storm. Again, something we inherited, and there's also, because of the mass immigration, a disease that we've been rid of in North America. We've been rid of in North America made its way up through South America. As these migrants, they brought some of their cattle with them. So part of the problem is we've had to shut the border to Mexican beef because of and again, I don't want to focus on one product. It's a very important product, and we are laser focused on this issue. And
so the new threat now, immigrant cattle. That's the new threat now. And their voters will buy it.
buy. So what we're going to do, and I meant to do this yesterday, I will do this today. I'll get the average beef price across the nation, and we'll track it, right? And we'll track it. And we'll see, okay, we'll get beef, we'll get bananas, we'll get tropical fruit in general. All the items that were just recently removed from the tariffs were removed on these items. And we'll check the price. MAGA still believes that prices are going to go. You okay, buddy? Prices are going to go down. They still believe it. They still believe that prices are going to go down. That's their push. Slick Willie, how are you today?
Hi, Facts. I'm a friendly. If they bought their cattle with them, then the prices would have went down because then there would have been more supply.
Correct. That's correct.
I've been wanting to come up to, I know you like to play music. There's a song I-95. I think the guy's name is, here, let me see if I can look it up real quick. That should be the MAGA theme song. And if you look it up, I got it on a lot of my videos. The guy's name is Austin Campbell, I-95. The assholes.
Okay.
Play that.
Okay.
That should be the MAGA theme song.
I will look it up and we'll probably add it to our playlist. But thanks for jumping in, Willie. I appreciate it, man.
I listen to you every morning.
You got it, buddy.
Yep.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. Have a good day. Be safe out there. He's right. Supply and demand. More supply means prices go down. Average 630. Thank you, Tracy. So mods, let's track that. November the 17th, 2025. Average price for beef per pound is $6.32 nationally. Let's see what happens to that beef price. Let's see what happens, right? Because again, we know that people in the circle have made their money. We know that consumers are paying the tariff, right? We know that. We know that consumers have been paying the tariff. That's an acknowledgement, by the way, MAGA, that's an acknowledgement from Dear Leader that his tariffs caused the price of these items to go up. Because if they didn't, come on, Betsy, we're going. Because if it didn't, then he wouldn't need to remove the tariff. I think it's that ground beef. So let's clarify. Let's clarify the difference between the ground beef component and beef in general. We're going to track it because I'm curious now. This series of fucking lies that they continue to tell you guys, it's beyond the lie. It's a gaslight. It's a gaslight. You're just Kevin Hassett again. This sound is so fucking crazy. It's important to play it again. Here it is.
But let me ask you the question I asked again. So the tariffs have been removed by the grocery store. How soon do we expect the prices on those goods now to go down?
Right. Well, the prices for those goods weren't necessarily going up just because of tariffs. And
think about that. The prices weren't necessarily going up because of the tariffs, but yes, they were. Yes, they absolutely were. Coffee in particular. MAGA just thinks that we can make coffee here. You can't. Coffee grows between the tropics. The Tropic of Cancer, the Tropic of Capricorn. The only place in the United States that we can grow coffee is Hawaii. That's it. That's it. That's where it grows. I've been to coffee plantations in Colombia. Okay, it's incredible. What's the most amazing experiences of my life. It grows on hillsides. It's hard to fucking process. It grows in the tropics. It's very sensitive to climate. All right? So the reality of that is that Puerto Rico too. Yes, I'm thinking mainland. You're right. Puerto Rico as well. Good call. The irony of that statement is just so pathetic that you can just think we can grow it here. We can track when the tariffs went into place against countries like Brazil and around the world. We can track the cost of coffee going up because of the tariffs. And now he wants to sit here and say, it's not because of the tariffs. If it's not because of the tariffs, then just leave the tariffs in place. They don't have to worry about it. But instead, you remove the tariffs. Got it.
And so the prices will go down. Well, the prices will go down, of course. But
because the tariffs have been taken off.
Right. Well, because the supply of the goods into the U.S. is going to increase.
But I mean, to state the obvious, I mean, tariffs do raise prices on Americans, despite what the president has said over and over again.
It depends on. So if you look at it, how much has inflation gone up because of tariffs? Everybody was saying we're going to have stagflation because of the tariffs, but in fact, year over year, inflation is down. The latest inflation report shows that it's 2.5%, and that's very close to the Fed's target, and that happened with tariffs coming. The reason that happens is that for most products, if you think about the stuff we get from China, China sells the products into the U.S. almost as much as they can to create jobs in China. And that means that they have to lower their costs when we put a tariff on. And that's why inflation didn't happen. And GDP growth is about 4% with the tariffs. And so we didn't get stagflation because the inelastic suppliers have been lowering their prices. But there's some things that aren't inelastically supplied, like coffee.
What? Remember what the promise was, and remember my new game that I play with MAGA. This is what you can do with your friends who are out there hardcore MAGA. Just ask them this question. If the inflation rate is 3% this month, and it goes to 2.5% next month, what happens to your prices? And I will bet you 8 out of 10 will say, oh, they'll go down. So we'll be watching the price of coffee, okay? I'm a total coffee snob. I worked in the coffee industry for 10 years, and I'll admit it, I am a coffee snob. I have a particular way that I prepare it. I have a particular brand that I buy. I am a bona fide coffee snob, right? And I'll accept that, okay? If you are as well, then watch the price of your coffee. One thing I learned from being in the coffee industry is you don't want to put anything between the American consumer and their coffee. You just don't. You do not want to put anything between somebody and their cup of coffee in the morning. It's coffee talk. Talk amongst yourselves. I'm overclamped. Seriously, you don't. So now we know the prices are crazy, right? The prices are crazy. And I'm like, shit, damn, I can point to it. So here we are. MAGA, you're being gaslit by the people who are your economic champions. Do you think it's just a coincidence that the BLS data, like somebody kicked the plug out of the wall? The Democrats broke it? It's fucking comical. Let me just pull this up. Is this the one I was thinking about? Cookie might have found the whole thing. Yeah, okay. This is the entire, as I was just describing to you guys, this is the entire moment with Tim Burchett, okay? Here you go. Thanks, Cookie.
Mr. Speaker, I ask unanimous consent that the Committee on the Judiciary be discharged from further consideration of H.R. 4405 and ask for its immediate consideration in the House.
Dadgummit.
Under guidelines consistently issued by successive speakers, as recorded in Section 956 of the House Rules and Manual, the chair is constrained not to entertain the request unless it has been cleared by the bipartisan floor and committee leaderships.
Nope, he comes back for more. Nope, ain't done yet, dadgummit.
What purpose did gentleman from Tennessee seek recognition?
Parliamentary inquiry, Mr. Speaker. We Republicans are requesting this unanimous consent. Are Democrats objecting to this request?
Chair reminds the gentleman from Tennessee that as indicated by Section 956 of the House Rules and Manual, it is not a proper parliamentary inquiry to ask the chair to indicate which side of the aisle has failed under the Speaker's guidelines to clear a unanimous consent request, as was stated. What purpose?
Boom. Game over. That's it. That's the whole fucking story right there. Now you can attempt to try to push away the obvious. Tim Burchett, are you afraid to go on the record? Are you afraid to go on the record publicly? Are you afraid to literally put your name down that you are voting in support of releasing everything? Exactly. Stop trying to hide from your votes, MAGA. Exactly. Fucking wild. I misspoke, by the way. The book club, the band book club, meets for the first time next week. And the charity that we are supporting is blackmamasmatter.org.
Any and all shirt sales from the new item that we put in the merch store, which is the Progressive in Your Pocket, any item that sells, any proceeds from the profits of those shirts will go directly to support that cause, blackmamamatters.org. blackmamasmatter.org. Okay. And this is... Okay. I'm going to play this one since we're talking about beef. This is Brooke Rollins. I've not shown Brooke Rollins the love that I would normally show members of the cabinet, but she's up there. She is up there. We have a farmer in our community. For those of you who didn't know, Sam is a farmer. And she, what's the comment that she wrote in the chat? I got to read it to you. It's funny. Where is it? Something about farmers being... as a farmer, I can tell you that immigrants are not bringing cattle with them. Okay, here's Brooke Rollins on Fox News.
From the CEO of Omaha Steaks. What is meat going
for
right now? $4, $5 a pound? He's talking about $10.
Well, that's right. And I sure look forward to talking to him. I saw him on your show. We had it on in the office on Friday. I thought he was very well spoken. I do believe, though, that his forecast is not going to be correct. Of course, no one knows, really. But the idea that we won't get prices down until 2027, I think there are a couple of important factors here, Maria. The first is this, that we are suffering from the last administration's literal war on cattle.
Oh, shit. We had a war on cattle? I missed it. Was that like the war on Christmas? I didn't, you know what? I did not get the memo. I did not know that there was a war on cattle. I had no idea. You guys, I expect you guys to keep me informed of that kind of stuff because I missed that entire thing. A war on cattle. Wow.
Important factors here, Maria. The first is this, that we are suffering from the last administration's literal war on cattle. If you remember, they wanted to reduce the herd sizes because they believed that cattle caused climate change. I mean, that wasn't that long ago that was sort of a common narrative. So lots and lots of issues there as we rebuild the herd based on the devastation of the last administration's policy.
From the CEO of...
What? Oh, my God. I'm smelling a T-shirt. Cattle Wars 2025. The thing is, a lot of the shirts we have at our merch store are kind of like inside jokes that we have here on the show. But when you wear it proudly, you'll know exactly what it means. So if we had a T-shirt that said Cattle Wars 2025, people would be like, what the fuck are you talking about? But you'll know, right? Cattle Wars. Thank you, Sam. Appreciate you. That's the gaslight. That's the gaslight. Remember, the Supreme Court, we're going to hear relatively soon about their decision on the tariffs in general, right? The fact that he's overreached just a bit. Overreached. That's it, right? They're going to make the argument, and I have a feeling they're going to rule against him just because of the things that they said during the hearings initially. Your entire economic plan is based on tariffs. That's it. The entire thing. The entire thing is a house of cards built on tariffs. Overreached how? By violating the law, Slim Reaper? Did you not know that? Come on, we can talk about it. By violating the law. Because the tariff's a tax. Congress is the only body in our government that can impose taxes, levies, and fees. The president has power under what's called IEPA, but he used it in violation of the law because a tariff is a tax. A tariff is a tax. As a reminder, say with me, friends, a tariff is a tax paid by importers and then passed along to consumers. And we know that because we can just look at the price of coffee. We can look at the price of beef. We can look at the price of tropical fruits. We can look at the price of bananas, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Right? So, sorry, you guys, but... And here's a little fun. This is a little fun. This is Stephanie Miller. She's a comedian. She hosts a podcast, and she spends some time on Fox News every once in a while. But I thought this was great. So Sean Hannity has her on her show, and this is great.
Biden's cognitive decline, and don't change the subject and deflect. When did you really notice it?
Well, I think it was through all of the times that Donald Trump has fallen asleep in public and talked about, magnets getting wet in the last few,
oh my gosh.
My mom had dementia, so I recognize it. And
this is not, it's a very good deflection. You're a professional.
You know what
radio
else is great about Biden's decline is that Trump is all over the Epstein files. And I'm wondering if they're going to release those. Are you covering that tonight? Yeah.
2028. Who is your progressive liberal?
Yeah, we have a really deep bench. I love Governor Newsom. I love Governor Pritzker. I love Governor Beshear. We have a very deep bench. You have J.D. Vance, who just, I believe, endorsed his brother who lost by 60 points. So, and I think Jasmine Crockett, if she runs, will beat Ted Cruz, and I will miss him because he's so likable, Sean, don't you think?
Okay, so nice to talk to you, Stephanie.
Yep. Thank you to Laura. Laura, thank you so much. Love, thank you, Laura. Thank you, Brielle. Appreciate you very much, Brielle. Thanks for all you do. I appreciate you, Brielle. Heather, thank you as always. You're here all the time. I want to say that the guy needed an explanation of why child rape is wrong. You're right. You're right. Why somebody needed an explanation as to why child rape is wrong. Yeah, that's the people that we need to that we're fighting against, friends. Then we'll do Drew, and then we'll probably wrap. So we just need to figure out who we're going to raid today. Good morning, my friend.
Steve,
how are you?
Steve,
yes,
have you already forgotten where we're not supposed to forget? Have you already forgotten the horrors of the teat offensive?
Oh my goodness! Yeah, I mean that's how. I mean, you're right. That's utterly ridiculous that I forgot that. Sorry about that.
Utterly.
I know. Utterly. Yeah, the cattle wars. I know it's crazy, right? It's. I mean, how could I have possibly missed that?
Unreal. Obi-Wan Kenobi. Hey, before I go, just on a completely unrelated note, buddy. I just wanted everybody to know I spent the weekend in Asheville, North Carolina. My father is turning 80 today. Yeah, he's turning 80 today.
Congratulations.
And, thank you. We went up there and celebrated with him, my son and my nephew and everything. It was a great time. But I just wanted everybody to know we were downtown in Biltmore Village. And you can still see the signs from last year, everything going off the hurricane, but the city's really roaring back. I mean, it's really doing well. I know the recent headline now is that they're going to have to be dealing with ICE possibly coming into town, and the mayor has already said that they're going to do their best to stand up to it. But I just wanted everybody to know that it's really starting to come back. There's a lot. It was crowded. That downtown was just busy. It's a beautiful cultural city. If you haven't gone, go by and visit it. Great. But it's coming back, folks. It's still there. So get a chance to go by and visit.
They took it hard. Asheville's a great place. I would live there if I wasn't here. That would be an area to consider living. Congrats to your dad. Happy birthday to your dad, and thanks for being here, buddy. I appreciate you.
Thanks, Steve. Have a good one, bud.
You too, man. See you later. The chat is blowing up now. These cows get free food and health care. The stakes have never been higher. That's a good one. Do we have cattle detention centers? Yeah. Not the immigrant cows and their agenda. Yeah, exactly. So many cow ideas. So I'm sure this is going to turn into an entire series of new merch in the merch store. Let me just adjust this real quick. We are at 105.50. All right, let me see if there's anything else that I wanted to cover. We're going to rate Olive when the time comes, so be prepared for that. I think I got everything that I wanted to get to. There's a few other things that I wanted to cover, but we can touch on those tomorrow because it's not breaking. There's a story I wanted to kind of give you guys about what The Atlantic has done on the financial connections. JP Morgan has been pushing back because JP Morgan, when he was convicted the first time, he being Easting, when he went to jail where he lost his life, they went to the Trump administration and said, listen, we've got all these suspicious activities reports about financials. What are you going to do about it? So MAGA, why didn't the Trump administration the first time investigate Jeffrey Epstein's illegal financial activity? Why is that? The cows are taking our gerbs. Exactly. The cows are taking our gerbs. So have you thought about that, MAGA, or did you just not know? Anyway. I feel like we've covered a lot today. Whew. That was rough. I'm in prime condition
to continue these conversations for the rest of the week. We will be live again all week, Monday through Friday. Please consider joining us on YouTube. If you've not watched over there, consider subscribing. Also streaming live on Twitch. So please consider subscribing there as well. I will, Mew. I promise. I got you. What was I going to say before we end today? Is this the last thing I want to ever? I'm sorry, but I have to talk about this. So there's reporting from numerous news agencies that RFK allegedly smokes psychedelics. I'm not judging anybody's use of psychedelics, but I find it interesting that he claims to be sober, but that would be problematic if you're sober and you're smoking psychedelics. It's the active ingredient in ayahuasca, and I think ayahuasca would be something. I've heard lots of good things about ayahuasca. It's typically done in remote jungle climates. I think I've seen it done in deepest, darkest pockets of the Amazon. There are ayahuasca retreats across the country. He's also been alleged that he's using what's referred to as DMT, which puts you into a near-death state. So I don't know what's going on there, but there's a lot connected. So vocal distortion could be a side effect of steroid abuse. I've heard that as well. So that would technically mean he's not sober if that's the claim that he's making. But we'll talk about that a little bit more tomorrow. So we're going to rate Olive. Thank you, everybody, for being here today. A lot to cover off on. I think what we did today is we exposed the fundamental differences between us and them. And I don't want everything to be political. Sadly, everything is, because politics at the end of the day influence our lives because of legislation, because of policy propositions, because of how laws get passed, how laws get debated on, how laws are enforced, right? So we've had a few people this morning, one that just didn't understand our healthcare system, thinks they did, doesn't, has no clue. Free market. Let's prop up capitalists. Let's make sure the billionaire class can still get their piece. Meanwhile, millions of Americans are suffering. If you're in that debate with your friends, ask them. Because the new Trump healthcare policy, right, is just give the money back to the people. They're going to do what with it? They're going to buy health insurance. They're going to Slim Reaper, I sent you an invite, but you didn't want to come up. So I'll try one more time. And if not, just leave and I'll just end the live. That's the part that you guys don't understand. You still have to have a solution. And then we had a conversation with someone who just doesn't believe women. So that's the right. That's the American political right today, right? They don't understand how economics work. They support the capitalists and the billionaire class, and they don't believe women. I wouldn't want to be in that position. If you want information, if you don't want to hold your guy accountable, if you think your guy's innocent, connected to the Epstein files, then demand that they be released. Tomorrow, we will be tracking that vote. So I don't know what time it's on the schedule for, but it's scheduled to go down tomorrow. 290 is the magic number. That is veto proof, and then we will see what happens in the Senate. I have no idea. That's not right. That's not right. That's not the right at all. Yes, Solus, that's exactly the right. We see it every single day. Go rate Olive. Tell her we said hello. Don't forget about our YouTube. Please maybe just drop a comment over there or subscribe, and also subscribe to Twitch.